And we should be live now. And I'm not even looking at my fucking notes. There we go. Now I'm back. Okay, welcome to the dating coach panel. Once again, I got a little bit of a headache. It might be a little slow today, so don't accuse me of being weird. That's just how I am when I'm whatever. But we'll get straight into this. Drop or super chat to ask a question, $5 USD or more, increasing as we go on. Where are you guys joining us from?
Yeah, I'm
New
in
York
Brooklyn.
City.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody. You feel me? And thanks for having me again, Ice White. I always love to be on Game Global. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
We
man.
love
So
it.
let's go with you.
Oh, yeah. How
Yeah,
about you, Justin?
I appreciate it as well. Yeah, also hailing from Brooklyn. Yeah, Locario and I are actually just a neighborhood away.
Right.
Hmm.
Oh, that's cool. Deepak, where are you calling in from?
Hey, how it's going? Though it's a long time. Yeah. So, thanks for inviting me again here. I think it's 1 year since I last time here
Oh,
in
yeah,
your
yeah.
show. More than
We
a year.
did. Deepak was on the Asian special in about April or March last year.
Yeah, something like that. So,
Where are you in the
uh,
universe right now?
right now I'm in Poland, in Warsaw. I'm right now teaching boot camp. So, live training going on. So, just I have to. It's like 10. I think it's 10 o'clock here p.m. So. Tomorrow the training will go. Then I have like 2 months of training other country. So yeah, that's my schedule.
Alrighty. Mr. Locario, I saw that you had a billboard in Times Square. Not
Oh
cheap,
yeah,
I
yeah.
imagine. What the fuck is up with that?
Yeah, you got to promote the game as much as possible because there's a lot of people who need game. And we just need more eyes on the game so people can better their lives. So you got to promote out there, you got to get out there and get to as many people as you can and just keep it going, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. That's what you got to be consistent with it, you know what I'm saying?
Cool. Could you tell us how expensive it is, roughly?
Oh,
Maybe
that's
if you
that's
don't
not
want
even
to.
you could it's like $250 for a day, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I
it's
even
not
saw
really.
this. I saw this one that was said because there's different services that do it.
Yeah.
So there's one that was claiming $150 for a 15-second spot.
Yeah, that's
So
for like
flash
if you want to
something
do like a
15
personal
seconds.
one. If you want to do one
Yeah,
that's like advertising a business is 250. And then they have like other, I think like other joints if you want to do like for a whole month, it's gonna cost more. You know what I'm saying? So it just all depends
yeah.
on what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But
I,
yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good deal though, because I was like, oh shit, really? I was like, let me get up on this, see how it looks on a big screen out there. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a
I was
bucket
like,
list
that's
thing.
what's up.
That's pretty fucking good. I like
Yeah,
that. I should do it sometime.
yeah,
Speaking of marketing, like there's a lot of alignment in marketing in some ways with dating and so on. Just before we went live, just for the guys
Mhm,
watching, me, Justin, and Mr. Locario were talking about what I call at least the stages of games. So I'll just
mhm,
explain how I perceive it. I was basically saying there's a lot of emphasis, or at least in my side of the industry, the
mhm,
pickup side on dating itself, even with the dating coaches or the pickup coaches,
mhm,
there's a lot of focus on the dating stage and not the relationships or family. And people have kind of been led to believe that settling down or having a family is a bad thing when that sounds really fucking ridiculous
mhm,
when you actually think about it because there's this obsession with getting laid and laid and laid.
mhm,
Where the fuck does that end? So, just to quickly go through how I think about this, I believe there are three stages of game. Stage number one, dating. Stage two, relationships. Stage three, family. As simple as that. Not everyone's going to want a family, so it's not a necessity for
mhm.
every fucking human. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on these stages of game or how you define game and that
Mhm,
kind of thing.
mhm. Well, what I would say about that is just in any facet of your life, you want to make sure that you are on point just in general, as far as you being that guy, regardless of the circumstance, so that when any circumstance arises, you are able to handle it and you're capable of doing the things you need to do to get the best outcomes that you need. You know what I mean? And on top of that, sometimes, and this is the thing, this is why we're here as coaches, because I think a lot of times people think that or they look down upon getting help. So you might be in a stage in your life where you might need help with something, and somebody can give you some game to help you with that particular situation you're in that you haven't been in yet. You know what I mean? So it's nothing wrong with getting coaching, because, like, like, for example, if you're gonna be a father and you never, this is your first time being a father, talk to somebody who's been a father for years. You know what I mean? Or talk to several guys who've been fathers for years. They might give you some tips that can help you in that particular situation. So I think it's just really being able to uh handle yourself in those particular situations, so it won't be anything super crazy when you get there at that moment. You see what I'm saying?
And for just I remember what Justin was saying now. So he described what you could perceive as like stage zero. I just remember what Mystery was saying about level zero game. But Justin was basically saying before we went live how he is not seeing many guys even getting dates when he goes out. So it makes me think in line with the marketing that we were discussing. I
Mm-hmm.
have been thinking a lot recently about uh, just to quickly go through this presence being everything because people are now spending in modern society about 7 or 8 hours per day on devices, on their phones mainly.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes away from their physical presence. So then we can simply say there's two ways that this can go. There's physical presence, which has existed for hundreds of thousands of years, and there's virtual presence, which has only just came out in the last few decades. So now we are spending, like me right now, and everyone watching this, you are in the virtual world. You are looking through the window to the virtual world. So your attention is going away from the physical world into the virtual. What I'm saying here is that a lot of guys aren't getting the opportunities of dating just like back in the 90s or before, simply because women and men are not being physically present. There's no virtual presence, and they don't know how to manage their own virtual presence. So it's like they're not getting on dates because they're simply not even marketing themselves. They don't, if you don't leave the basement, if you don't leave your own fucking house, you basically don't even physically exist. You have no physical presence. And if you have no social media, you have no Facebook, no Instagram, and you have no online dating profiles, no Tinder profile, you have no virtual presence either. So no wonder you're not getting any results because you're
Mm-hmm.
not even doing any marketing. So I'll be fascinated to hear any kinds of ways you guys have thought about this.
Mm. Well, back to like what you were talking about with the different stages of game, I take more of a macro view of it, and how you show up is how you're going to show up in all situations. So to Locario's point on like a micro level, looking at it, yeah, there are certain things that you don't know that you're going to want to go to other people to say, hey, tell me about your experiences here. Do you have any points or tips that help me, say, in the journey of becoming a father, for example? But if you pan out to the macro view and you are just in general a loser, or you have psychological problems, or you're not grounded, you're not centered, your mind is fractured, and many of the different ways that it can be, then learning any little bits of this or that isn't going to help the individual. So I think that regardless of where whatever stage you're in, whether it's dating or relationships or marriage or what have you, or family building, if you're not the guy, then it's not going to matter what stage you're at. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
always going to be at a problem because you are the constant, right? The variable is the type of situation you're in. And as far as just the marketing goes, so to speak, I would say that congruence is the most important thing. And the problem is that a lot of guys do not have that congruence. They have their loser self who's behind the screen, and then they have their winner self who's on the viewing side of the screen. And they think that is something that they can concoct. And truth be told, it can manipulate people into engaging with you. That's what a large part of YouTube spaces, influencers, and things like that. they get a lot of fame and money and success through this mirage. And so they figure, well, at least if I'm getting attention from women, they're wanting to get at me, they're wanting to be part of my falsified lifestyle, then that's enough, right? That's enough for my ego. And but that really isn't being congruent, because if any of those situations really come together in physical spaces you were talking about, Ice, then there's going to be a clear difference, and the woman's going to go, "Wow, this guy is actually a loser. He's like cooked oatmeal in the brain, and I own him before we even start anything."
Any other comments on this?
So, so I can explain. My voice is coming. Yeah. So I'm like more technical guy, very technical. So when I say game, what is game? So I will say that game is something where you are when you're going to the girl in like it. I will explain in the context of cold approach. So game is something in the cold approach scenario when you are able to go to the girl and consistently able to build a intimacy with the girl, an intimacy with the girl. So if you are able to do with on consistent basis with the girl, not on luck base, then I say this is a good game. It has it can lead to sex or no sex, because sex can happen because of logistics. Make sense? So if you are able to build an intimacy, you go to the girl, you talk to her, not just platonic conversation, able to build intimacy on consistent basis, then I will say this is a good game. It may lead to sex or it may not lead to sex. That depends on the you can say logistics. Because if the girl likes you, then she may also want to meet you for a date next time or something like that. Or you can take the girl home. Another way I can define game in such a way that if what regardless of your status and the money, if you able to get the girl based on your conversation charisma, whatever your SMV is, you can get a higher SMV girl. That is also a good game. So, like for example, I'm an Indian guy from India. So if I able to get from whatever I look, if I able to get a girl who is higher on looks, higher on SFV, then I will say this is a good game. Make sense? It's like a more technical thing. So then we can talk about like the relationship and all the stuff. That is like the next phase. How you when you have the girl in your life, then how you deal with the girl, something like that. So this is what I will like explain about game.
Alrighty. This is leaning into my next question anyway. So, what do you guys define game as? I'll just throw in there. I know that Mr. Locario says game is not about women. So
Mhm.
let's see about this.
So basically, always okay. So let's break it down a little step by step. So I think people also have to understand the difference between game, like what game is, and having game, right? So game is basically synonymous with life, right? When we talk about the game, we're talking just about life, existence, all that other stuff. Having game is you having a skill or strategy to get what you want in this life on your terms, right? The key thing is on your terms. So a lot of guys think they have game because they slept with a girl, but if you slept with a girl and it wasn't on your terms, you don't have game. So what does that mean to sleep with a girl that's not on your terms? So if you wanted to sleep with a girl, let's say tonight or next week, and she says, "Well, we got to go out on 3 dates and we got to wait 90 days." And then you go out on 3 dates with her and wait 90 days, then you have sex, you don't have game because you were doing it on her terms versus doing it on your terms. And in order for you to do it on your terms, you have to have a strategy in order to make that happen, right? But part of where that strategy comes from is your mindset. So it's your mindset first, and then your actions follow that mindset. So a lot of times, guys, they're looking at the woman as the thing that determines if they have game, but it's really your mindset and your actions that determine whether you have game. So if a guy says, "Man, this is why you hear guys that they'll have sex with women, but they're still having trouble with women," or a guy who's in a relationship with a woman, their boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife, and they still have issues with their girlfriend or wife. Why? Because they're dealing with the women on the woman's terms and they aren't dealing with the woman on their terms. Because if they dealt with the woman on their terms, they would just be dealing with them based on how they want to deal with them and they wouldn't have any problems. You see what I'm saying? So overall, the game is having game is about you doing things on your terms. And game within itself is just understanding that you are the game. You are part of this life. You're connected to everything in this life. You are life. So when we talk about game, we're talking about yourself. That's why we're saying that it's not about women. It's not focusing on the woman. It's focusing on yourself. And then you bring women into your situation. You see what I'm saying?
Being the protagonist. Just
Right.
if we're using like video game terms, yeah, it's very similar. I agree.
Yeah.
Who
Right.
else?
I take I don't know. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think Locario um, sides with me on this sort of thing that it goes like well beyond tactics, right? Because again, like that's making it about the outcome, right? And that's kind of being really short-sighted about game. And if anyone's like familiar with the Tao, I think it's very similar to that. So there's like this line in the Tao that says, "The way does nothing, yet nothing is left undone."
Mm.
And I think that is very much like game, where it's like um, it's like being in flow. It's not really trying to impose anything or um, or exerting your will. It's more of like state of being. And I know that's getting like kind of esoteric about it, but that's the thing. It's like there's no real thought about it, right? And if I could just, and I'll just instead of getting really deep and into the weeds with it, I'll make like a quote that Bruce Lee used in his biography that was taken from Buddhism, and he said, "In the beginning, a punch is just a punch, and a kick is just a kick. For an intermediate student, a kick or a punch is more than a punch, and a kick is more than a kick. And then to the master, a punch is just a punch, and a kick is just a kick." So it's like the
Mm.
intermediate guys are like, "Oh, the angle in her, did she push her hair behind her ear? And the degree of which her feet are angled toward me, and are her cheeks flushed? And if you say this thing, it will trigger her emotions this way, and anchor and this sort of thing." And it's like, okay, sure, yes, those things are accurate, right? Just like in fighting, like yes, there are very deep, particular technical things around fighting, and they're applicable. But at the end of the day, a punch is just a punch and a kick is just a kick. Like at the end of the day, you're just saying things and you're being very present and not separated from what is happening. So when the guy is in that intermediate stage and he's all about these tactics and charms and all this stuff, he's actually separated from what is happening. He's
Mm.
not with the environment as a unified thing. And some people are going to understand what I'm saying, and some people aren't.
Just gonna read out this comment. Deepak, you're gonna love this. Real Retainer says Indian social control is crazy. The Indian dudes that defied their parents by becoming PUAs have massive balls.
I mean, yeah,
God
it's a
damn.
tough.
Anyway, for those of you who just joined, our question we're currently on is, what's your definition of game, basically? We do have someone I didn't expect who was coming in here. Oliver, if you want to put on your video, feel free to do that and answer the question. But Miles, you have an answer for this?
Shout out to Miles.
So, oh, you're on mute, Miles. You gotta. Here we
Hey,
go.
what's going on, guys?
Hey,
Ice, thanks for having the forum, man. Thanks for having me and all that. Appreciate it. Deepak, what up? Justin, what's going
Uh,
on? Mr.
Hello.
Lucario, what's going on?
Was pumping.
Yeah, man. Oh, so the definition of game, man, I gotta answer this again after I did a whole documentary on it.
just look at the documentary, man.
Right,
Yeah.
just go to masculineidentity.com and download the documentary. It's called Game Kings, the definition of game. But nah, game is game is another word for life. Game is all things, man. It's all things. It's just it's it encompasses all things. But the problem is that most people, not just men, but people in general, it's like we look at the game as something separate from us. We don't include ourselves in the game, and so therefore we don't take our own interests seriously. And so when it comes to certain things, even our own desires, we put our own desires over ourselves.
Mm,
And so that's why a lot of us think game is about, persuading a woman to like us, not realizing that she already likes us. You
mm,
understand? Like, for example, I heard a long time ago, there's a dude named Earl Nightingale. He's like a old motivational speaker. I'm talking about if you were to look up his material, pretty much all his shit would be in black and white, right? So he said that success, whether you're trying to get a girl or you're trying to make $1 million, success is a decision, not a destination, right?
mm,
So once you decide something, you are connected to the outcome already. You just don't know it. Like, so it's kind of like you have already created your reality. You're just waiting for tangible reality to catch up to your mindset. So again, if you truly understood that, then you would understand that game is about you. Game is about your perception. Game is about your thoughts, words, and actions and how they affect your entire reality. And so that's for me, that's the definition of the game. It's very similar to what Justin was saying. It was like it's something that's simple yet complicated, but then at the end of the day, it's highly simple,
mm,
right? So I'm talking all of this stuff. I'm talking about self-perception and the decision of success and all this other shit. But game is really just having an understanding and putting yourself in the middle. In so many situations where it's like we think we are the earth revolving around the sun when we're the sun and everything revolves around us. You
mm,
understand? But because we desire something, because we like something, or we want something, we allow the thing we want to become more important than us. And so we forget to include ourselves in the vision of all of it.
mm.
I like that. That's very solid. Any other comments on this?
I mean,
That's
the
the
thing is,
vision.
the thing is like what Miles has said. Like this is more. This can be also can be seen in that way. It is like more like an inner game kind of thing. But if this is a game global, so I guess we are talking about getting girls. So when it comes to getting girls, there is a different like technical things we need to do in game. When we are making money, then we have a different set of skills. So I think I see this like when I'm, for example, when I'm talking to girl, I'll be talking in a very different way. When I'm talking to guys, I'm talking in a very different way. When I'm doing some business deal, I'm talking in a very different way. So definitely when it comes to like a game in context of getting girls, then it is different thing, and they are like technical things. They are like specific words, specific ways to say the things so that it has the maximum impact. So for example, when it comes to sales, we are not just say like we are the center, I want to sell this car and just buy my car. So they are like specific sales training we do. So it's not just like I have a strong inner game, then I become a good salesman. So I have to have some good sales technical skills, how to understand the customer, what he needs, and how to read his mind, what can be the objection he may have. Maybe if there are some objections which I can, before he says that objection to me, I can like remove these objections. So a lot of things when it comes to girls, for example. Uh, a technical game, good game is something which what we say um, uh, that is very different compared to just making money or living in life in general. Make sense?
Mhm.
Yep. Alrighty. Let's move on to the next one. Pretty similar. How important is it for a man to be in control and have strong leadership? So I noticed Miles has his masculinity thing. That'll be fascinating to know about. At the same time, this is similar to what we were just talking about because with game, it really is like you're taking control. You're being the protagonist, like you guys were saying. So let's dive into that one.
So what was the question you said about a man being in control?
Yeah, the importance of the man being in control and having strong leadership.
Okay. I will say, so with control, the man just has to control himself. So I think when sometimes we talk about control, guys get it confused thinking to control the woman, which you can't. So the thing is that when you control yourself, that means you also control what comes into your life and what is happening in your situation dealing with women. Right. So a lot of times when you hear guys complain about women, oh, she played me, she used me for money, she came over my house and wasted my time. I thought we were gonna have sex. All of that is your fault because you are in control of who you allow in your house, who you talk to, who you take on the date, who you give access to you. And so the thing is that you're in control of that in particular. A lot of times when guys try to control women, right? That's coming from insecurity because you feel safe. You understand, like being able to think you're in control of her. You see what I mean? So I think when it comes to control, when it comes to game, it's about you being able to control yourself so that you can create the circumstances and situations that you want in your life to have better situations with women overall. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Yeah, I'd have to agree that the leadership and control all starts with the self. If you're led by impulses, if you're led by your drives and things like that, you're not entirely in control of these things. My father once, the only thing I remembered, like most important thing he ever told me was that life is just a series of choices.
Mm,
And so if things are driving those choices and not you, then you're not exactly in control, right? And then whomever or whatever is behind those impulses is now leading you. You are now submissive to that, right? So in the context of dating, oh my gosh, she's so hot. I must talk to her. You walk up to her. You were so pretty. I just had to speak to you. Weakness. You are submissive to the woman's looks. You're submissive to pussy. You're submissive to your sexual drives. You're not in control at all, right? You're a puppet. And so I think that is incredibly important that one must learn to lead themselves beyond their animalistic impulses. And this includes emotions as well. This person pissed me off. I'm gonna go fucking kill that guy, right? No, you're not in control. You're weak. Even
Mm,
if you kill him, you're weak. Because he already won, right? He pulled you off your square. So, and as far as control goes, obviously I'm in a different place, than you guys, but control for me is all about an invitation to control, right? Because I do like controlling like various aspects of a woman's life, but it's never saying I'm taking control of this. It's more offering it and saying, does that turn you on? Right? Do you
mm,
find that sexy? Does that arouse you that I control this, and this aspect of your life? And oftentimes it does. So in my experience, women enjoy having a man controlling certain aspects of their lives in varying degrees. Some like it a lot and they like being extremely micromanaged, and some not so much. But I've noticed that there's almost always some degree of desire for control in their lives.
mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, okay.
Uh,
Miles, you can.
for me, I think it's important because nature has already put us in the primary position as men, right? To me, I look at this whole life thing, and human life, I look at it as, I break it all the way down. A lot of times when I look at how I see things when it comes to masculinity, um, you know, and femininity and all these different things, dating, male female interaction, I just go back to nature, and nature has already put us in the primary position, meaning that it is our seed that causes, pregnancy, that brings forth the next iteration of, this thing we call life, right? We literally make the world go round. And then for that reason, you might hear me say things on, our documentaries or on our lives where I say a man is the closest thing to God and things like that. So me, based on my belief, it is highly important that we are in control first, like the other gentleman said, of ourselves, because we cannot. It's crazy how we cannot control the world. We can only control ourselves and how we respond to the rest of the world.
mm,
And so that is And that is the modicum of control that we actually possess. So therefore, we must do our best to understand ourselves, to know how to control ourselves, and to know how to respond to what is happening with the rest of the world, right? So whatever comes in contact with us, we have. So I'll give an example, right? So for example, if I came onto this panel and I say to myself, well, I know who I am and I want to represent myself a certain way. And I want for my voice to be heard. So, strategically speaking, in order to do that, I have to be respectful. Like, for example, I have to wait for other guys to finish speaking. And so then I can speak, right? I have to make sure my equipment is set. I have to make sure I have, and I make a choice for all these, for how my background looks, for the settings and adjustments of my camera, like because I can make it look like this, which looks horrible in my opinion, and then I can make it look like this, but I can make it look a little bit darker because I want it to be a certain way. I want it to look smooth and pleasing to the eye. So what I'm saying is that I'm making all these decisions, but in order to successfully and strategically and to purposefully make all these decisions, I have to have a level of control, right, of myself. And that's what's highly important. So when it comes to male and female interaction, which ultimately allows for generations of human beings to come forth, literally, right? Um, that control is important, right? Because once I penetrate this woman and I impregnate her, I also have to keep her safe for 9 months. That takes an immeasurable amount of control. Especially if we look at different sections of history, right? Before we had, because we used to live in caves at first, right? I mean, depending on what you believe in, but there weren't always houses and brick and mortar and all of this stuff to keep us safe. So we had to respond to the elements. We had to respond to changing conditions. So it's either I'm going to just get upset that it's raining and that it's cold and give up, or I'm gonna fucking slay a goddamn buffalo and then wrap my wife in it or wrap my woman in it so she can survive for the next 9 months. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that's what the control allows you to do, to be strategic and to be creative and think of ways to respond to changing elements of the world that we can't control it, but we can control how we respond to it. You see what I'm saying? So it's all of these things that are put in front of us, and it's like, okay, she's pregnant. I gotta hold her down for 9 months, and it's about to get cold as shit. How am I going to respond? Either I'm going to migrate to warmer climates, or I'm going to build a structure to keep us warm, or I'm going to create some type of insulation for us to stay warm, to stay alive. All of these, and these are so fine. These are three different reactions that I can have to this changing variable that I can't control. But all of these, so what kind of man am I? Do I love warmer climates? So I might go with the first choice. You get what I'm saying? Like all of these things throughout the course of history have been faced with have been placed in front of us as men, and throughout the generations, thank God that there were men that didn't lose control and just give up. You get what I'm saying? That we could all be here today. So
Do
that's
you feel
why,
like
to me, that's why it's so important.
Do you feel like some of that has been lost? Because, for example, when you're born, you're conditioned to follow. You got to follow what your parents are saying. The school system. You're talking about more like evolution, which of course is good. But in modern society, things have changed, so it's more like you're conditioned in different ways, conditioned to follow the school system, for example. So a lot of guys have kind of fallen down the gap in the middle where they don't transition into being leaders. They just continue being followers and just
Mhm.
let things that happen in their lives just determine their fate.
Right.
So at what point should men really take fucking control of their lives?
I say okay, so the thing is that there's emotions and then there's feeling, right? And when I say feeling, what I mean is like feeling is like to me an indicator of what makes sense to my masculine identity, right? And so, like in the example that I gave, if it got cold, that's a feeling, right? And if it gets too cold where I think my family might die, then I get this feeling that I don't want them to die, right?
Mhm.
Right. And see, that's why it's not really an emotion. It's more of an understanding. Like, well, I understand that if they get too cold, they'll catch frostbite and die. Right. And so the thing is at what point is this? It's the point where something is happening that goes against what makes sense to you based on the instinctual feeling. So the thing with boundaries and um like the things that have been put ahead of us in the way of like institutions such as marriage or institutions such as college and things like that. Like, for example, when I was in college, I had a feeling that it wasn't the right place for me, that
Mhm.
I had a feeling that I wasn't going to actually graduate and have a degree. And I never did, but I'm still today couldn't I consider myself a successful man, a successful businessman, but I don't have a degree because the feeling the feeling of graduating with a degree from an institution such as a college, higher learning institution, didn't make sense to me. You get what I'm saying? And here's the thing with boundaries that have been placed around us, such as institutions. I'm gonna get back to it. So every boundary has limitations, but there's going to be a moment where a man's masculine identity is going to force him to push against and rearrange the boundary.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Because we can't necessarily fully break through the boundary. So I'll give you an example, and I'll give it to somebody else. This is my last main point. The Wright brothers understood the boundary of gravity, but they also, because of their creativity and their masculine identity and their you know the word that means to keep trying,
Consistency
their
or
persistence,
persistence,
excuse me,
right?
sorry, right. So their persistence forced them to push against the boundary of gravity, but they creatively found a way to readjust the boundary of gravity. So
Mhm.
now we have planes and so on and so forth. So they had this feeling like, this ain't it, man. Just locomotion, like locomotives and just getting around by a wheel. There's got to be a way to transport through the air. And their masculine identity and the persistence of that forced them and nagged them until they figured it out, a way to push against the boundary so much that they rearranged the boundary. So I think that's the point where a man is going to go against the boundary when his masculine identity compels him to use his creativity to bend and change the outline of the boundary.
And seeing that right there is what game is. Everything you said was having a strategy to get what you want on your terms.
Oh,
You see what
exactly.
I'm saying? That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
fuck
literally
you,
the game right
gravity.
there.
Yeah, fuck you, gravity.
That was a very good metaphor. Yeah, because like the opposite of that is you just accept gravity for what it is, and you just never do it. So
Exactly.
yeah, I see what
Exactly.
you're saying. That's a
Exactly.
very good metaphor.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Anyone
and, and
else?
real
Yeah,
quick,
go
just to
ahead.
finish it off, the beauty of that is how the new bend in the boundary, in the outline of the boundary, how it affects everyone, how the possibilities, the potential of how it affects everyone.
Mhm.
Right. What you talk about is like that dude who came up with going over the high jump backwards
Yeah,
in the Olympics. Right?
exactly.
Everybody was at the wall. And then that one guy was like, I wonder if I jumped backwards. And that
Facts. Great
broke the
example.
brains of the collective consciousness and said, wait a second, we can go way further than this. You know,
Right.
now guys are jumping backwards fucking 18 feet in the air.
Exactly.
Oh, if you
Great
want
example.
another sport example, I heard this from another coach that we know.
Oh
The
yeah,
100 meter race, and one guy went so fucking fast, and it took like hundreds of years for anyone to obtain this one record. I think it
Hmm.
was like the 100 meter dash or something. And
Hmm.
then like only a few months later, that record was broken and then just kept getting broken. It wasn't
Right.
until someone did it first and then it
Hmm.
collective conscious.
It broke through the
Absolutely.
consciousness. Yes. Yep. Yep.
Go ahead.
so but yeah, we are talking about the emotion. I agree to Miles also. When we are when it comes to controlling emotions, definitely uh, it's when you want to be like good with girls, then definitely you have to complete control over emotions. A lot of guys come to me, they just like the girl says something and then they just cannot able to like react properly, or sometimes get angry, sometimes get nervous. And definitely when I started my game, I also had the issue with this thing 13 14 years ago. Then getting complete control over my emotions definitely helped me also. And that is something is when you are in control of your emotions, then you can also focus on the girl emotion, and then you can, what you have to say, you can say it in a much better way. About the boundaries thing, that is very interesting thing actually. So I see sometime game with as a, like a you can say like geopolitics. Uh, uh, so if a country is having a leverage over another country, then they can go directly assert their dominance. For example, we say USA. So if US is having a leverage over, we say, Iraq in the old days, or Libya. So it's like a direct, they can assert their boundaries, they can assert their dominance to them. But when it comes to, uh, for example, some other countries like Iran or Russia or China, so they use the proxies. They are not going very direct. So sometimes when it comes to girls, also in the start, you have to see like what is the girl, how the girl is responding, and then you have to adjust.
Oh,
Something happened.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just continue. It's
So
still going.
yeah, so sometimes this is how I see when according to the girl, you have to adjust your strategy. So how I explain you? So like if you just meet the girl and the girl is showing some attitude, then I'm not saying that you supplicate to her, but you have to compromise some
Oh,
values in a way that okay, let's see if we can change this situation in future. So now, for example, if I have sex with her, we have sex with her, with this girl, then like I like in one way that I have sex with her, then it in one way it can be seen as that um, the value now can be changed because the most important thing I got from her. Then now I can have more value, and I can slowly assert my boundaries, my dominance. You can also even say on her. So this is like how I see the things on the practical level. Because if I'm just going to the girl and assert my like this is how it should be done, then what will happen? It will be just a rejection. But because the game is also about getting success, when we are doing the geopolitics, then it is also about like it is about winning it, not like we are just going direct all out and then destroy everything. You have to win. So this is how I see like the like in the geopolitics, as well as in the game, as well in the business. Sometimes you have to be a bit kind of diplomatic and see the things and according to your value. And sometimes you have to, on temporary basis, you have to compromise your value to get the things, and then you can have like change the situation later. Make
nope,
sense?
nope.
See, that's the thing that I disagree with, that with
Hmm.
compromising values and trying to worry about what the woman's thinking or feeling, because like I was saying earlier, it's when it comes to game, right? It's about your terms and what you want, because you are the one experiencing yourself and your life. So the thing is, if I talk to a woman, there's no woman who is more important than me. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, if she says no or she's not interested, I'm cool with that. I want her to say no and reject me, because if that's how she actually feels and sees me as that, then cool. Or if she has an attitude, I'm cool with that. Meaning, I'm not gonna fuck with her. I'm not gonna deal with her. I'm not gonna talk to her anymore, because I don't want to add attitude or negative energy in my life. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna excuse myself from her and talk to the other girl over here, and the other girl over here is gonna give me cooperation. She's going to be smiling. Everything's going to be cool. So the thing is that, you know, because there's so much women in the world, you don't need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to compromise, basically. You feel what I'm saying? It's just like if I go buy sneakers and I go to the store and I say, hey, do you guys have Jordans? And they say, oh, we just ran out, but we're gonna have some more tomorrow morning. I'm not gonna camp out and get the Jordans. I'm just gonna go to the next sneaker store and get the Jordans right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, well, let me, you know, work with the store, let me hang out with them, let me see how they're feeling. You know, maybe they want my money, so let me care about what. No, it's like, hey, this is
Maybe
what I
they got
want.
extra
Is she
caramel
giving it to me
macas
or
they
she
got
not?
about.
Yeah, it is also okay, but then it is about like it is about then it's about numbers game. It is not like it is not very efficient way of gaming. This is how I have seen on the practical basis. Being an Indian guy in the West, so I have to be very tight with my skills and getting the things done. So, for example, a guy coming to me and there are like many guys who come to me that they have already done coaching with some guys, some dating coaches, who has done like to teach them like direct game. And okay, if it is this is not working, go to another girl. This is not working, go to other girl. This is not working, go to other girl. So when this guy is coming and with all the hope, then I cannot just say like go to the girl and speak directly. It is not going to work
So
because
Deepak,
on
let
the
me ask you a
ground,
question.
yeah.
When is it not a numbers game?
Hmm?
I'm saying when is it actually not a numbers game?
You can say in that way like numbers game, but it is like more how efficient we can make the things. That's the main thing I'm saying. So if I'm going to the girl and she's okay, this is who I am. She don't like me. Okay, then most probably no girl will like me. It can happen that if I just go, this is me, an Indian guy from Delhi, then please like me. It is not gonna work because a lot of guys come to me in that way. So that and they have done this direct game. They have gone to the girl and then they said that okay, this is who I am,
So
and then
how do you make a girl that doesn't like you like you?
so yeah, so that this is like this is where the technical game starts. So like for example, if a girl, so like we don't speak. I mean, you're laughing, so
No, I'm just asking.
yeah,
I'm
so
trying to learn.
you are not,
I'm trying to understand.
I can explain you. Yeah,
So
so this is
go
so
ahead.
if a guy is coming, so for example, if a guy is coming, so we are not speaking like directly, hey, you are like nice, you're hot or something like that. So we have to start, we have to make some conversation starter. Then it should be maybe it should be relevant to the environment where she is, and then maybe we can ask something like an emotional question which is not personally related to her. Emotional, that is something emotional. And then from there we slowly go, like engage her on the personal level and stimulate her emotionally. So on the practical level, so how I will do, so you can say like excuse me, Starbucks or whatever, I'm looking for a restaurant mix, so anything, indirect gain. So then for example, now it is a very logical surface level thing. She can say it's a Starbucks there and this and this and this. So now we have to engage her on an emotional level, but it has not to do with on like physical, on personally on her. So I can say for example, yeah, I am starting my work here, so what is your experience to be in this city? If you look like you're living in this city for 6 months and 6.5 months, how is it feels for you to live in this city? So she may say like, oh, the people are this, or you can do this thing, or this thing. I feel okay in this city, this. So then you say for example, I'm giving really like, how we like teach on the like technical things. So maybe then I will explain about myself. Okay, this is my situation. Then I will say, then I slowly go, when there is some engagement is going on, then I will go on that emotional level, like okay, not like direct compliment. I will say something like you look like, you the way you are like dressing, you look like you're something creative, artistic. So now I'm going on giving some comment on personal, but it is not I'm saying cute. I'm not saying she's hot. So creative, artistic. So she may open. She say like, I'm an accountant, or maybe she say I'm artistic person or something. From there, for example, we go. The next step will be we will say like, okay, look like you do some kind of sport, and then maybe she will say like, yeah, I do yoga or whatever. She said, oh, I can see the effect of
Okay, so
yoga. So
real
we are
quick,
slowly, layer by just a minute, layer by layer, we are going. That's like I'm explaining the technical game, and it works. I have the proof. It works.
so what happens? You do all that, and she still says no.
If she still say no, then of course, then it will not work. Of course, if she still say no, it will not work. But there are very high chances when you go to the direct on her and say like, it's the same thing. You geopolitics, if there is a Iraq, Libya, you can go direct game. But if there's some other country, then you have to go through proxy. Yeah, so you go through proxies or something like that.
But see,
That's how it
this
is.
is the thing. This is the thing. And I think this is always the disconnect, right? Is that when you approach a woman and you talk to her, right? Either she's highly interested or she's not. And so what you're saying works only if working means to talk to a woman who's not that interested, who just kind of like goes with it because you're spending a lot more time with her and wearing her down. Meaning like you're talking to, so like what I'm saying is this, right? Is that if I meet a woman, right, and I say to this woman, hey, let's go out to get drinks, and she says yes, right? And another guy meets that same woman tomorrow, and he says to her, hey, let's go get drinks. And she's like, no, actually, I would rather dinner. And he's like, all right, maybe we could do dinner. And she says, also, we need to talk on the phone and get to know each other before we go on a date. So now it's the same woman. With me, she just said yes to drinks. With him, he has to do 10 different things. So what I'm saying is that a woman's interest level is going to determine how much work a guy has to put in to even interact with the woman. So what I'm saying is, why not just find the women where you don't have to do all that work and then just at the jump she's interested?
Reminds me of those Tinder profiles where the woman is like, I'm 8 months pregnant and looking for someone to take care of my blood. No.
If we go in your situation, like in your scenario, then we have to lower the filter, looks filter. We have to lower the looks filter. The thing is like if you have to go for the girl who lower on looks. So the thing is like it is not like interest level. The girl, even if the girl is just talking to you, she's interested in you. It's not like she's going to fuck you. So it is, even the girl is kissing you, it is not like she is going to fuck you. So it is, if we able to engage the girl on emotional level, if there is engagement in conversation, and that can be platonic, and then we can convert it into more romantical sexual kind of conversation.
Okay,
if we know how to technically do it.
So this is what I'm saying. So the girl that you're engaging on an emotional level, right? And you're saying this is like the hot girl that it's like she's hot, like in the example.
Yeah, like normally I teach like day game cold approach. Yeah.
Okay, and you're saying the girl.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right. So what I'm saying is that hot girl that you're being emotional with, there's another guy. He didn't have to be emotional with her, and he just said, let's go out, and they went out and they had sex. So what I'm saying is like, because you're saying that you have to go on a lower looks level. I'm saying in your example, you're saying the girl you're talking to is hot. I'm saying let's call her Tiffany. Tiffany also talked to this other guy, and he didn't do any of that. He just said, hey, let's get together. She said yes. They got together and they hooked up. So what I'm saying is, instead of doing all that with Tiffany, why don't you find another woman just as hot as Tiffany and not have to do all that? Just like the other guy didn't have to do all that. Like what I'm saying is this, why be the guy that has to do 10 steps when you can do one? That's all I'm asking.
I mean, the thing in theory looks good. On the practical level, this is not very efficient way. That's what I've seen. In theory, it looks fine. In theory, I'm fine. Yeah. I mean, I would love to have like finding the next girl who is completely to me the same looks level. But on the practical level, this is very inefficient way.
I think it depends on the outcomes, right? So if someone is more geared towards wanting volume, okay, then one is going to figure out ways in order to achieve that volume, right? And this will be, as you said, Deepak, compromising your values. Okay. Now, personally, my values are ironclad. They're carved into steel. They do not waver, they don't bend, they don't compromise, they don't shift, they don't get colored. Nothing changes my values, my principles, codes, rules, and well, I already mentioned values. So they're unmoved. And in my world, even in business, okay, it's it's either a fuck yes, and if it's not, it might as well be a no. I don't want mid. I don't want. I'll think about it. I'll say, well, let me chew on this for a little while. I'm not sure. I don't want any of that, right? If it's not 100% hell yes, then it might as well be a no. I don't want to convince someone to work with me, whether it's in a romantic sense, whether it's within a business sense, friendship, nothing, right? I want 100% in it, okay? Because if it's not, there's reservations. I don't want to deal with reservations. Nothing, no reservations whatsoever. Now, the things that you guys are talking about, I've seen this, right? I've seen this with a number of the guys that I work with, and what I found is that guys who spend time working on tactics, right? Just as what you're talking about, Deepak, is
Mm-hmm.
understanding like the various
Mm-hmm.
tactics of understanding emotion, understanding communication, body language,
Mm-hmm.
all these particulars of human interaction that are present, but they become very forward. Like it's very much on the forefront of one's interactions. Like being very present and consciously aware of these things as they're happening instead of just in the back burner how most of us are. Most people don't consciously think about what is my body language right now. Most of us don't consciously think what is the tone of my voice right now. But there's people who do. They put it on the forefront and they're very much aware of what their state is in regard to these categories. What I've noticed is that guys who do this, the underlying issue is not they're doing these things wrong. Okay. The underlying issue is self rejection.
Mm,
They don't like themselves. They reject themselves. They feel that they are lower than in comparison to other men, other groups, other this, other that. There's this underlying current of self rejection. So they think, okay, and this is typically what happens with people who have a poor sense of self-respect is I see myself in a certain way, and I am deathly afraid of a woman seeing what I see and confirming it. That
oof.
is the number one ultimate fear. And so, in order to counteract that, there is a cope that goes on. And that cope is I'm going to do these things to convince her to see something else. Even though I'm not fundamentally changing what I see, forget about that. Let's put it behind the curtain. We're both going to try to ignore that for a while. I'm going to do these things to distract you with magic, right? To divert your attention, divert your feelings, divert your intuition that I'm not the loser that you feel that I am from your intuition, your female instinct of like what smells like a man that I must copulate with right
Mm,
now,
mm,
okay, or I cannot copulate with right now. So these things are there to kind of shift, dissuade, obfuscate, redirect, and affect, and truly these things do work. They're absolutely psychological tactics through communication that will change people's perceptions of you.
mm.
There's
Okay.
masters of these things, in marketing and all this stuff. And it's like really, like I said, what's underneath all that is an element of self-rejection.
Right.
And if
Okay.
promise that if it's not there and it's tended to, those things aren't necessary.
Can I
Can I
add
answer?
quick question? Quick
Yeah.
question, Deepak. Have you ever
Yeah.
put together a puzzle?
Puzzle?
Yeah.
What kind of
Like a
puzzle?
500,000 piece puzzle, whatever.
Like a jigsaw puzzle.
Like a
Um,
jigsaw puzzle, yeah.
maybe in the childhood, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well,
We didn't have that much things.
no, well, so the thing with a puzzle is that every puzzle is cut to a certain size and shape, and so
Hmm.
every puzzle has its place. Would you like it sounds like you found a puzzle piece that you really believe fits in the place it's supposed to fit, but instead of and it doesn't actually fit, but instead of accepting that it doesn't fit, you're willing to get a pair of scissors to try to cut it to make it fit.
No, this is
Then
wrong. I can explain you. Okay.
and then when you finish the puzzle
Mhm.
and you look at the puzzle piece, you're like, oh, the picture doesn't look
Mhm.
right because I forced that puzzle piece to fit in that space where it didn't actually fit. Not to mention, the other puzzle piece that was supposed to go there. It's stuck on the outside of the puzzle now because I actually forced this puzzle piece that didn't truly fit. And so my thing is, because I know who I am, I know the size and the shape of my puzzle piece, it's only going to fit where it's supposed to. And I'm okay with that. I don't, because I need for the picture to be complete.
Okay, so okay, this is gonna be a bit slightly controversial, but let's do it. So the thing is like,
Oh.
okay, so because I learn in life even from evil. So because if the evil is successful, then we can learn from the evil also. Like something bad, somebody who is maybe in the history something bad has done, but if it is successful, even it was successful, then we can learn from. So there was some guys who came to me, and then it was the issue is that I have to tell, like, lot of guy came and then they have this kind of inferiority and all, and then I say, like, you have to think superior about yourself. Inner game need to be very strong. You have to see yourself, higher than everyone. But then they say, like, if I'm superior, then I can just go to the girl and speak direct game. If then why I
Exactly.
need game, why I need game. That's so I say that's also a very interesting thing. So how I have I explain them. So okay, so if I mean, maybe you don't know about Indian history. So because I'm from India, so how the India was colonized. So I try to understood the mindset behind the people and everything. So the Britishers came through south of India, and they were very less in number. So India was big, like very wealthy at the time, and they came and they know that if they go direct attack on them, they're gonna lose. Okay, so they have to adapt to the Indian society, Indian culture, and everything, like adapt to the, like, making a friendly kind of, agreements and all. But in their mind, they were still thinking they are superior. So they slowly, they captured the whole India. They showed who they were. They colonized the whole India. So those I explained him, like, look, it just you can think in your mind, but you still need to, like, you are superior. You are having the value. You are the man. You are the masculine man, but you still need to have the tactics to win the game. That's the only thing I'm saying. Like, you have to, in your mind, you have to be, what Locario is saying, what Miles is saying, that is correct, but on the ground level we have to practically win the battle. That's how I'm saying. Like a simple example of this East India Company that came to India, it's a very good example to understand, okay, that's a evil thing, but we have to, if the evil is successful, we can learn from it.
I love that we injected colonialism into this
No, I'm just
dating
saying,
panel.
like, maybe we can, but it's a good example to understand, like,
Yeah.
how it was very successful.
Well, this is the thing. I see what you're saying, Deepak. But this is the thing that most people don't realize is that within any dynamic, and especially if we're talking about men and women, somebody is submitting to somebody else. Period. So meaning that either the woman submitting to the man or the man submitting to the woman. So what happens is that as a man, if you are really about that life and you're really a masculine man, you have a masculine identity, you say, this is how I do things and this is how it is. And so any woman that I deal with is going to basically deal with me on my terms, right? So even when we talk about women, what we like to say is, I like to say, I don't get women, women have to get me, meaning that, or I don't commit to women, women have to commit to me. In other words, I don't submit to women, women have to submit to me. So somebody has to submit to somebody else. So a lot of times if I'm talking to a woman and I think she's physically attractive and she's giving me attitude or giving me a shit test, what you guys like to say, and I think I gotta pass her shit test As soon as I think I have to pass her shit test, I am essentially submitting to her because I have to pass
Becomes the
her
authority.
test. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So this is the problem where a lot of guys are like, well, it doesn't matter because at least at the end of the day, after you talk to her for 3 or 4 hours, at least you still got the smash. And then that's the problem, is that now you're submitting to her way, because the only reason it took you 3 hours because she wasn't ready when you were ready. So you basically submitted to her. So all we're saying is a lot of times guys, they're like, the end goal is to get sex. So they want to get sex by any means necessary. They don't care if it takes 3 hours or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm just exaggerating, 3 months, whatever. What I'm saying is that it's okay to want sex, but if you know you want to have sex now, and the woman that you want to have sex with is not wanting to have sex with you now, and then you wait on her, then you're essentially following her, which means you're submitting to her. And all you need to do is toss her to the side, find a woman who is on the same page as you, and you say, hey, listen, let's do this now. She's like, hell fucking yeah. And then y'all do what you got to do. You see what I'm saying? And either way, what's going to happen is you're going to have to play the numbers game either way. The problem is that I think a lot of times, especially like PUA guys, they think that, well, I have a certain skill of talking to her in this way, so I don't have to play the numbers game. No, you can talk to women forever and the woman could still say no. Women use guys for attention. And I think guys forget that. Women will talk to you for hours just because she wants somebody to talk to. A woman will come to your house and still not have sex with you. A woman will talk to you on the phone and interact with you, go on 3 or 4 dates and never want to have. So the thing is, how do you know whether or not this woman is interested in you sexually? The way to find out is you have to deal with women on your terms by saying, hey, this is the process I go through. And if you're with that, then you can rock with me. And if you're not, you can go over there. It's really that simple.
Yeah, I've
No,
literally
we
opened
we
with.
can speak in that way also. We can speak
I
in
was
that,
just
but
going to dovetail on what Locario was saying. Like, I've literally
okay,
opened on
yeah.
messages saying,
Mhm.
you look like the type of girl who enjoys being tied up. Because that's the type of person I am. I didn't say, hey, hello, how's it going? What's your name? You look like you are into sailing because you have all these sailing pictures in your, on your IG profile or anything like that. Because that's just what. And then she's like, oh, so there's only 3 options. Either she says, you're disgusting, get away from me. Okay, cool, right? We're not a match. She says, that sounds fucking awesome, and she banters along, or she gets shy and says like tee hee hee, like in blushes. So it's neutral, where she's just like, uh-huh, okay. So it's either positive, neutral, or negative. And it's like, so by being congruent, then everything sorts itself out very quickly. That's all I have to say.
Right.
So, like, I mean, like in one way, we can agree. Like Locario saying, like a process. This is the process I go through. So, okay, so maybe Locario, this is your process, and my process. This is my process I go through. So we can also like agree on, we both have like different process. Your process something different. My process technically different. So this is the process I go through. If she is going through this process, then and the result is the same at what your result is. The thing is, like, if we go in a very like, okay, the game is about conveying charisma and personality, and that you cannot do it in 2-3 minutes. The girl need to have spent some time so that you convey. It is not like just you're talking platonic conversation. Okay, if a guy is just talking to the girl, having a let me finish, having a platonic conversation, then it's not gonna, okay, of course it's not gonna work.
Deepak.
Then he has to do some like the
Deepak.
technical things. Yeah.
I'll just stop
Deepak.
it here. That this will turn into another debate. So I think we could arrange that for another time if you guys are up for it. I'm gonna be away for a few weeks, so there's no rush anyway. But final comments, I'll give you guys like 1 minute.
I want to hear what
jump
Miles is
on
gonna say.
next.
Go.
Now, I really want to ask Deepak. You talk about the girl needs. What about what you need? Huh?
I mean, like if a guy coming to me, I mean, they want pussy. I mean, and my goal is to first bring them the result. Then we will talk about the relation. We will talk about the relation.
No.
I mean, when I'm talking to the girl, it is about the sex
wait.
on the first.
No, I think you misunderstand.
Yeah.
I'm saying in the realm of man and woman, you keep talking about what the woman needs. And I'm asking you, what about what the man needs?
I'm not saying like the woman need. I'm just saying like we have to adjust our behavior according to our emotions. We have to convey the right
But
emotions.
why?
You
That's what
can
we keep.
say
So why can't she adjust her behavior to our
that's the
emotions?
game. Because if the game is about speaking the girl language, if then I don't need game. Then we are talking. Why we're talking
Okay.
about game then? We should not
Well,
talk about game then.
let's arrange a
Like
debate
if I have
for
to
another
speak,
time.
just game is about understanding the girl language and speaking we are talking to girl. I'm not talking to a guy. That's
See,
why
I think
the
that's what the
game global is
disconnect
about
is.
getting girls.
That's what the disconnect is. And this is the
I
thing.
mean, like
It's
it's giving the practical results. That's the main. This is how I see
right,
Yeah.
but all
actually.
we're saying is, why can't you get the girls on your terms? Why does it have to be on
It
her
is my
terms?
term. If she's you can say it is my term if she is following my process.
I got a good
I
question
I
on
take
that.
your word on that. You say if
How
Follow
is
she
me
is
it
here.
following
following
my
your process?
process,
Follow me here.
yeah.
This is a good question for this. How often should guys be getting laid on the first date?
That's
mean,
an
like a
interesting question.
percentage?
You said how often should guys get laid on the first date?
Exactly.
I think it's a poorly worded question or an interestingly worded question. Like
Mm,
should is often a very tricky
right.
word using in statements, okay? Because it signifies a standard, right?
Right.
Often with like a like an ethical or moral angle to it. So I don't like using shoulds. They also seem kind of absolute. And so should and then getting laid. Like that's also problematic because that implies that you're receiving something, right? And
Oh
that
yeah,
also
there's
sucks,
also,
right?
the terms receipts. It's like you're paying women for sex and then you get a receipt
Right, but I'm just
after.
saying, like,
It's a weird
how
thing.
the sentence was constructed, and that's no fault of yours, guys. But guys do think in these terms,
Yep.
and I think it's a faulty way of thinking
Yep.
because there's no shoulds in my life except according to my own program, and that's it. Those are the only shoulds in my life. And then getting laid, it's really she's getting laid,
Mm,
right? Because I am the influence, I am the penetrator, I am the guide, I am the leader, I am the one who changes her life. She's not the one who changes my life. Okay. When she has an orgasm, she has an out of body experience. Her eyes are rolling back in her head and she's convulsing like a zombie thrown into a vat of acid. That cannot happen to me. Okay. It literally cannot happen to me physiologically. So therefore, I have more power in all situations with regard to a woman. Now, the only time that that's not the case is when the man is subjugating himself to pussy, when he sees it as a goal, when he sees getting laid as success, which means he's playing on her chessboard according to her rules and adapting to her being or however she's moving. And so I would say that it's an oddly worded question just to begin with.
yeah, I would say a guy, as far as uh hooking up with girls on the first date, I would say a guy can hook up with a girl, most girls on the first date, if he creates the situation for that to happen, which means things like only dealing with women on your terms, dealing with women who have high sexual interests, laying out the plan to let a woman know, hey, listen, like for example, I had a client who was having trouble, getting women off dating apps and hooking up with them. And one of the main reasons was because he on his profile and in his pictures, he was, presenting this like very like nice guy that's gonna court a woman, take her to dinner type of thing, right? And so I told him, listen, the stuff you're saying on here is BS because it doesn't match what's going on in your mind. You actually want to meet women and hook up. And so we changed his profile, we changed his pictures, and then in the messaging, I just told him, I said, hey, listen, tell the girl, let's go out for drinks. And if the vibe is right, I might take you back to my place. So now the girls who are seeing him, who agree to see him, are coming to see him under that premise. You see what I'm saying? So now when he met these women and he's interacting with them and he's flirting with them, they're already coming there with that premise of, oh, I might go back home with this guy and have sex with him. which is why I'm coming to see him, because I'm sexually attracted to him. So now it's his choice whether or not he wants to take her back to his place, versus most guys who are dealing with women and the woman says, well, no, not tonight. Let's wait. Let me get to know you more. And then you follow her lead, then go on more dates and talk more and do all this other goofy stuff. And now you're chasing the woman just to get pussy. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So, I mean, the question is what is the question? Can you, how many times the guy should get laid on the first date? Or, like, what is this question?
It's vaguely phrased, but should guys be how
Laid on the
often
first date.
how
Okay.
often should guys be getting laid
Okay.
on a first date?
So, I mean, that's a very like interesting question, but it depends on there are like a lot of factors like geographic location where you are, depends on the girl who she is, her background also, how much promiscuous she is, nationality also. Sometimes it depends, like if she's from Anglo-Saxon country like American or like British or West European or like East Bloc. So there are like a lot of factors depend. So for example, like I have done game in USA as well as I teach students, so they're definitely getting laid, even not on the first date, on just getting like a same day lay kind of thing is definitely possible there. If the girl is promiscuous, then it can be done very quick. If the girls need time, it can take even 5 days. It can take even 3 dates. I have the situation where I have to have like 10 dates also. And I have the situation where I have like 45 minutes meeting the girl. So it depends on me how much time I'm willing to invest for this girl. That's how I see. So it's a very like question is a bit kind of it's a answer depends on lot of factors.
Okay, I'll just say, I think if it is the true desire of the man, if it is in his masculine identity to get laid 100% of the time on the first date, I think it's highly possible. Because all that man has to do is when he's talking to the girl to ask her out, he's letting her know, hey, we're fucking on this first date. You understand? And because you can literally say to any girl, hey, I'd like us to go out for drinks Friday night and then go back to my place and have the wildest time you've ever had. And yes, I do mean sex. And if she gives any type of resistance to any of that, all he has to do is be like, all right, no problem. Have a great day. And in his mind, he's thinking, I'll give my offer to another woman. That's it. Because if a man, all he has to do is decide, I don't go on dates unless I'm fucking. That's all he has to do.
Yeah, but in
So,
reality, can I?
but that's not reality, right, Deepak? Because we gotta go.
But
We gotta go with what the
sorry.
women want.
But
We gotta go with what the women want. I understand.
No. I'm saying that, but in the reality, this is not very practical because that maybe the guys are not having that much option. So guys, so you have to, if for example, how I learned the game, yeah. So I came from India and okay, I'll try my luck, and some guys say like, I met some like guys who are like good looking European, and they say the things and they get the number. I'm saying the same thing with the same girl. It was not working for me, and I said like, what the fuck I have to do to get results? And then I say, okay, I have to find my own way. I have to improve to get the same girl. I have to have more like skills to get the same girl. And I accepted that. And that's what I teach. And that's how I see that you see the girl, you get the girl. Okay, if I do the numbers game on that situation, maybe I will not at all get late. So there can be some guys who have the situation, it can be anything, that they have to knock too many doors and they are so frustrated that okay, fuck that, I'm not even interested in game. So I see it is on the ground level, on practical level. If we are just okay, if we are meeting, we will have sex. The girl can say easily say no, and then okay, in your opinion, okay, we go to a next girl, we go to, but maybe there are some guys, they do not have that much option. Then what is the solution for these guys you have?
So let me ask you this: how does a guy not have that many options when we're all living on the same earth with 3.5 billion women?
At least
I
4.
mean,
Yeah, at least 4 billion, right? Like we're all, it's not like we're all on different planets. Like, man, I'm on Jupiter, there's only this amount of women. You're on Mars. Like, we're all on Earth with almost 4 billion women. So how does a man not have the same that's like saying, well, you know, some guys don't have 24 hours in a day. Like, what are we talking about? I don't get that.
It's all management. Like that would be time management, and in this guy's case, it's game
Well, it's
marketing management.
well, it's not just time management. Again, your masculine identity will direct you to the places where you want to hang out. Like, for example, I mean, you don't even know, but I mean, and maybe Justin could talk about this a little bit, but there are people who their entire community is about fetishes and kinks and sex, and like that is what they are about. You
Hmm.
understand? You have some a lot of you guys talk about dealing with hot women. There are some guys where they only go to clubs or places where hot women hang out.
Hmm.
Like they make sure, okay, well, I'm gonna live in Miami or I'm gonna live in this type of place and I'm going to find the parties and I only go to the clubs where the hot women go to. Like they strategically position their life in a certain way to get what they want. See, look, here's the thing. What you guys forget when you're making these assumptions is that you're talking about the average guy.
Hmm.
The average guy is going to make average decisions, but expect to only have hot women around him. You get what I'm saying? This is and ultimately no, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anyone, but this is exactly why they need our help, right? But what they don't realize is that and here's the sad part too. They look at themselves as average guys. Oh well, I'm just an average guy. I mean, one of the one I remember we was on a call with one of these guys. I think it was Redbeard or whatever his name is, and he literally said it. Oh well, I'm just an average guy with red hair. No girl's gonna really like me. Look, if you really want to be that guy, you have to put yourself in position. I'm telling you, there are some guys who they find out where the hot girls are, they find out what clubs, they find out the meeting places, and they find out what is required for the admission to these venues and so on and so forth. And so when they decide to play the numbers game, every girl they talk to is a hot girl, especially according to like the scale of 1 to 10, what guys think is hot and all this other stuff, right? So they put themselves in position to win. So if they're playing the numbers game, so if I'm one of these guys and I'm at one of these, hoity-toity venues and it's nothing but hot chicks in there, you think I'm gonna waste time and let any of these chicks try to finagle me into buying her a fucking Birkin bag or some shit or talk to her for longer than I want to? No. No, I'm looking at the woman. I'm like, where you're at. You know the caliber of men that hang around here. And you know that all the other women in this place are just as hot as you, if not hotter. So when I ask you out for drinks, we are going to fuck after we finish having drinks. And if you're not cool with that, next woman.
Right. And I
But
could pick any woman in here.
and yeah, I can talk to any woman in here. So if you want to tell me no, trust me, there's no problem. But see, again, that goes all the way back to real strategy. Again, Deepak, you're talking about like day game and just randomly going out into the city and approaching girls and so that in itself is the reality for the average guy who looks at himself as the average guy who's gonna do average things to try to get the hottest women possible. So in essence, in a lot of ways, that whole game plan, so to speak, doesn't even make any sense.
I mean, it can also work in the venues. Also, it can work in the venues
I'd like to
also. The
answer
girl.
like Ice's question. Well, not well, add to, but answer it from a different angle. The question was like, how often should a guy be getting laid on a first date? Right? Is that what it
Mm.
Yeah.
was?
Yeah.
Now, in my world, from my perspective, is that it should be very little, and that's because, uh, or yeah, that's the way I saying should, is that because that shows that your value, that you see the value of your dick, the value of your time, your attention, your affection, your energy, all of it is extremely valuable and rare.
Mhm.
The things that are given away for free and in high frequency are not valued very much. And this is for every single commodity on the planet. Like, think about it. Like, does anyone ever really think about air? It's like one of the most valuable resources that we have on this planet. Yet we never think about it. We take it for granted. But you go into a situation where it's compromised, it's the most valuable thing on the planet. Right? You get locked in one of those like shipping containers from China. Every square centimeter is valuable air. So the thing is, when you give things away for free, especially the things that you know that can be effective, that can be influential, you're devaluing it. You devalue your dick, you devalue your seed, you devalue your time. And it says, I'm willing to give this to anyone who's willing to take it. That sounds like the shittiest salesman ever. I will sell to anyone who's willing to buy. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like. As long as like you fit some kind of parameters that makes me feel good about selling to you in one way or another. And the way I look at it is beyond my curiosity. That's the only thing I give away for free. But beyond my curiosity, what is she doing to earn more of my attention, earn more of my time? And she damn better well be breaking a sweat to earn my dick. Because it does not come freely, it does not come easily. Because I know that once I touch those walls, she's going to be a changed person. And that's the end of it. She's going to be a changed person. Because I'm not like one of those guys who are like, I'm just getting, Locario, I know you disagree with me. I'm not going to give her like that 10% dick. Like, I am going to destroy her entire consciousness. That's how I roll. I come in, I lay waste to the lands, the livestock, the children, the women, the men. I destroy the entire fucking kingdom. And it's like, okay, that's what's gonna happen. So if I know what that's gonna happen, she better be prepared for it, you know. And it's like, I'm not gonna give that away for free, you know. I'm gonna lay waste to an entire kingdom, and you know, so I'm not gonna do that just because she's here, just because she's willing. It's like, nah, you don't deserve. What makes you think you deserve that? What, your boob job? Congratulations. Keep trying. Let me hear another 10 excuses.
Your boob job.
No, but that's also that also goes real quick with what we're saying as far as having a standard and standing in what you and who you are, and then having the woman has to get you. As a man, it's supposed to be essentially difficult for her to get you. You understand? Because what happens is you have a way you do things and you're not going to change it for anybody. So therefore, if you're talking to a woman, you're saying, I'm giving you the opportunity to get with my program. You see what I'm saying? Now, guess what? There's going to be women who are going to say no, and that's cool. And you know why that's cool? Because what happens is that if she's saying no, right, that means that she is basically saying no to the opportunity. But the opportunity is valuable regardless if she says yes or no. If the NBA comes to a player and says, "Hey, we want to put you on this team," and the player says, "Nah, I'm good," does that take away from the value of the NBA? No, because the NBA is value with or without that particular player. You understand? There's a bunch of other players trying to get into the NBA. So why is it that a lot of guys look at themselves as the player instead of the NBA? They look at the women as the NBA. You see what I'm saying? And this is why dudes have all these problems. And this is why guys come up to women and say shit about things they don't care about. So how long did you live in Virginia? So have you always been, a woman who likes this? And like, you don't give a shit about that, but you're asking her these questions because you think you should ask her these questions so that you can create some sort of emotional connection because you think that's the thing that's going to make her want to fuck you. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy.
I don't want to push this into like an autistic space, but this kind of question, there are guys who are like, what's your date to lay rate, bro? And like, I don't want to push it that far. However, I was looking through some footage recently, and I think Marcus Wolf said something along the lines of there's more context to it, but if you're doing game right, you should be expecting, or not expecting to, you should be receiving the about 90% of the time you're getting laid on the first date. Does that seem reasonable, accurate for guys who are getting good results with game, for guys who are good at game?
Well, that that what that implies is that there's a lot of deserving women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I
yeah,
really don't think
sometimes,
that's the case.
yeah, sometimes you go out with a chick and you're like, I'm totally not fucking this woman. So it's like she's not
Also,
getting.
No.
in your case, you change your mind if you simply don't vibe with a woman, but you got a date with her, but then you change your mind.
No, so basically what I'm saying is this. I might like let's say even let's just simplify it. I'm on a dating app, Tinder. I match with a girl and I'm matching with her because I think she's physically appealing. I'm like, oh, she look like the type of chick I like. I usually like to smash.
Mm.
We go out and get drinks. And then when we start talking and interacting on that date, she's showing me signs that I don't need to be fucking with her at all. You understand what I'm saying? So once we get into that situation, then that's because she's still on probation. It's like I'm telling her she might get this. I didn't tell her she is going to get this. Come
Right.
I
through
see.
and I'm still deciding if you're going to get it. The problem is that most guys, when they deal with women, they're sitting there hoping the women will give them pussy. I'm saying I will see if I will give you dick. That's the difference. You see what I'm saying? And so the thing is, why am I sitting here trying to accommodate her because she has an attitude, trying to pass her shit test when I'm testing her and she has to pass my test to get the dick? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand this backwards thing where these guys are like chasing these women and trying to get approval from the women and trying to be what the women want them to be in order to get pussy. That's backwards.
Yeah,
Right.
I see what you're saying. So you're basically filtering out and well other guys who are just trying to get laid as much as possible and eventually getting tattoos saying I had sex with thousands of women kind of thing.
So yeah, so the question is like, can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, we're kind of going in circles here, but
No, just
essentially Marcus Wolf said, for example, previously on Game Global,
90% of the
uh
time, 90% of
90,
the
yeah,
time. Yeah, okay.
on the
So
first date.
on the first date, if you have good game, 90% of the time. So I will say, like with the time, my definition of game slightly changed. Now at present time, I say good game is about building intimacy on consistent basis. It may or may not lead to sex based on logistics. So now, again, if based on the geographic location, nationality, what is her background, so a lot of factor depends. So definitely, if we say like West European, there are like 90% or maybe 95% of the time you can get laid if you have established an intimacy when you meet the girl like when you're meeting in approach time. So I do not teach that much online game. I'm pure hardcore cold approach guy. So, but in some countries, it may goes to maybe 40% of the time. Even with your good game, it may lead to many dates till you get
I
this
just
girl
can't
to.
see I just can't see there being that many women who aren't that annoying.
What
Like
I
that's
Yeah.
didn't
a
get it.
really high. That's a really
It's just
like
a
just. I mean,
sacrifice you have to make, you
Yeah.
know.
like that. That's a very high percentage of women that are tolerable.
Right.
Like I'm a very like intolerant person. And so I just can't imagine that. Like that 90%, like that says like there's a lot of like really good girls out there who are worth tolerating my time with. I've never seen it. I have never seen that high of a number. Being like, holy shit, there's so many good, pleasant, obedient women out here who are just willing to be on my program all the time. Like that just doesn't make any sense.
Let,
Most of them
let's
are too annoying for that.
let's put a twist on this. I remember Eric von Markovik mystery saying a one night stand is a failure, which kind of made sense
What?
because if you're having sex with her only once and she doesn't come back for more, that's pretty much what he's getting at. Do you kind of agree with that or disagree?
No, this is I do not agree with that because if you able to build emotional connection with her and intimacy and There will be some girls definitely after one night, one day. I mean, one in the daytime or nighttime. We say one night stand. So maybe they will not come, but they are like definitely very high percentage of the girls. They will come to meet, see you again. Definitely, this is definitely I have experienced. Even like after 1 hour, 2 hour meeting the girl and taking her home, the girl has like I met the girl again also. But there are some situations where the girl is definitely never wanted to see, and there are some situations I just didn't bother to see them also. I didn't even bother to give them my number. So there are some situations also in that way.
So wait, what was his reason for it being a failure? Like what was his rationale with that?
There was no callback.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's saying that was it, and it was a wrap.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
wasn't interested enough.
Right.
So he
Now
said
this
it's a
is
failure
the
if she
thing.
doesn't want to come back.
Yeah, this is how I look at it. So, what are your intentions in the situation, right? Because sometimes you want just that one time. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like there's women that I've dealt with, and I just wanted that one time, right? Or she may have wanted it more, and I didn't. You see what I'm saying? Like I could have been like, okay, yeah, this wasn't good for me. You see what I'm saying? So again, even with that thought of, well, she's not coming back to you, right? It always implies that you wanted her also. You understand what I'm saying? There's also the other side of the spectrum of you. Like I think guys want women so bad that they forgot that they could also not want the woman. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? It's always I always want her 100%, and oh my god, I need her, and she's just deciding whether or not she's going to give me a chance, or you know what I'm saying? It's like, what
Right.
is this?
No, I agree.
I want to say this too, that to this, because you said Mystery said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
shout out to Mystery. A lot of respect to him because not for nothing, guys like him kind of put a lot of things on the map that made what we do, what we all do today, kind of possible, in a way. So shout out to him. But it's funny to hear a PUA guy say it was because you said, I mean, and I hope you got his message correctly, because to say that a one night stand is a failure because she doesn't call back is interesting to hear a PUA say that, because in my perspective, so many of PUA tactics have no regard for compatibility.
Right.
So it's to me, it's kind of like what you do is the embodiment of her not calling you back. Like she's not supposed to fucking call you back. Why? Because you spent the whole time trying to make her like you. Just enough so she could fuck you. So why would she call you back? Because once she's done fucking you, or once you're done getting what you quote unquote wanted, now she doesn't have to pretend anymore, because that's all she really did. You grew on her like fungus. She gave you what you wanted because you wouldn't really leave her alone. I mean, honestly, a lot of PUA shit, in my opinion, is akin to harassment and entrapment and kidnapping to a certain extent. Okay, you sitting there talking to a girl who doesn't like you, but you figure out a way to fucking make her like you because you're building rapport and you're building, intimacy and all this shit. It's like, yeah, she looked around the club or the venue, and there was no one else that was giving her attention. And it's been a while since she had sex, so she probably fucked you that night. But that's why most PUA guys end up single, because you're always forcing a woman to like you. That means she doesn't really like you, because how you start is how you finish.
Yeah, I think we've all heard, I would agree with, I don't know how you guys feel about this situation, but I've heard many women say that they instinctually feel or know whether they would like, not whether they're going to, but they feel that they would fuck a guy within the first like few seconds of meeting him. It's an instinctual thing. It's like a pheromone hindbrain sort of survival mechanism. And so it's like if that's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. And I've heard so many women say this that I have to agree.
But this is not true because they have maybe they have fucked that guy. That's why they are rationalizing to it. But this is not
No, no,
true
no, no.
actually.
I'm saying on the first time of meeting someone.
Yeah, but this is
Like,
not true
hello, my
actually
name is
because
Bob. There's an
yeah,
So you guys, you know about like the snap things that happen in our brain. So our hindbrain, I forget what the part of the brain that it's called, but it has to do with all of our survival. And it's like a bunch of F's, right? There's like fuck, feast, fight, flee. I think there's like five of them, right? And these judgments happen within milliseconds upon seeing somebody, right? You see somebody walking down the street, within milliseconds, your brain is thinking, should I run away from this person? Do I need to fight them? Is it a friend? Is it a foe? Is it food? And where am I going to fuck it? And then you get closer in range, then your conscious mind can kind of decide all these different variables and factors within split seconds. This is what's happening in the brain, and so that's there. The women can sense from you that that hindbrain is active. Like, would my instincts want to procreate with him? And it's not a conscious thought. It's something that's happening on an animal instinct level.
There are some incidents where the girl has rejected me. Still, I able to get them, and also got them as my girlfriend actually. So what it means that they thought that they will go for relation, they will fuck me because
Where are they
I
now?
So wait, you made a girl your
Where
girlfriend
are
after
they
she
now?
rejected
Those
you?
girls, real quick, Locario, Deepak, those girls, where are they now?
still in my life, you know.
Yeah.
Wait,
Are they
Deepak,
your
hold on.
girlfriend right now?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
So you wait,
yeah,
so you
Dog.
wait, so you made a
yeah,
girl your girl after she rejected you?
yeah. I have some
Why?
situation, and that's how it is.
Wait. So
It's all about
so
it. You learn from. I told you, you learn from the geopolitics. You learn from the religion. It's everything the same concept. It's the same concept in life. It's the same concept with the girls.
so you had a girlfriend who settled for you? Is that's cool?
I have not like one time, multiple situations. Yes. So I do not agree with that the girl will decide on
No,
actually many guys
I
said
didn't
that.
say decide. I didn't
Yeah,
say
like
decide.
yeah.
I actually had a caveat that said this does not mean that the act is going to happen. I said this is a function of the hindbrain. It's not part of conscious awareness. It's part of instinct, right? The thing that comes up. Have you ever been in a situation where you just feel like there's a dangerous person nearby? Like you can almost sense like they want to jump somebody. It might be you. Like you could just, it's like spider sense.
Mm.
There's no conscious awareness or thought around it. It happens to all of us. It's part of our survival instinct. It's why we're here. It's the reason why we have not been decimated by saber-tooth tigers.
Mhm.
Like, we have this. It's part of our survival mechanism. And just because we're in 2025, that part of our brain, I don't know, maybe it's like the hippocampus or something like that, it doesn't know we're in 2025. It's just operating on these very base functions. So no, she's not going to decide off of this. It's an instinct, just an instinct. It's a feeling. And yes, it's determined within the first few seconds of like, I must procreate with this man. And like I said, I'm putting words. I'm like, what's the word when like personification? I'm personifying the instinct. It obviously isn't consciously saying this. I'm just personifying.
So we
Right.
can say in that way, we can say that like if the girl maybe decide not to procreate with that guy, the decision can be changed. Maybe in the on instinct level, maybe she is not deciding. Actually, this is very interesting. I met one. There is a like it's a true story. When I was learning game, so there was a like 19-year-old blonde German girl I met, and. Um, uh, she we met for the date. She said she has a boyfriend, nothing gonna happen, this. So I was interested, I was learning game, and she told me, and I said, okay, how you met your boyfriend? So she told me that he is so ugly that I would have when I met him first, I would have I would have never decided to go with this guy. He's an Asian guy. I do not want to do anything with him. But somehow we became closer, and this, and then we became like girlfriend, boyfriend. And definitely I was seeing myself. She showed me the picture, and I was seeing myself like better looking than this guy. Then I said that then I said to myself, like the girl do not decide on the first on that instinctive level. And even if she decide it, this decision can be changed.
No, she's deciding, she's just settling. So the guy that her
I mean,
boyfriend she knew I'm not attracted to this guy, but for whatever reason, I'll deal with him.
I
You see
mean,
what I'm
we can
saying?
say in
That's how
any
women
other
think.
way. I mean, we can say that also, like settling. But
Right, but
okay,
that's what that, so that
Uh,
he
changes
got the girl.
the
well,
dynamic. That's what we're
it,
trying to tell you.
any of these chicks that first, that had to settle for you, please don't marry them at least, because
Right.
that leads to a sexless marriage. Because if that's the way your relationship started out, at some point in the marriage, she's gonna start withholding sex because she already knows that she's the one that you submit. She knows that you submitted to her.
No, no,
You
no, no,
understand?
no. This is not how it
No,
works. No, 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 no,
I
no,
got
no,
some
no,
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 questions
no.
about
that's what
that
we're
later
saying.
too.
It's
That's pretty interesting.
it's about showing the value. If the girls see the value right on the first minute, okay, fine. If the sometimes the girls see value in three
Later.
hours, and the girls see the value maybe in 3 days. It depends on
That's not going.
when she see the value. You can a hot guy is going to the girl a chat. She see the value within 1 minute. Okay, yes or no, binary, yes or no. But sometimes that's why the game is invented, that we spend time, we convey the value.
Okay,
She
so
see the personality, charisma, and then she can decide. Or like,
Deepak,
yeah, yeah,
let me explain this to you this way. So let's say I see I'm at a party and there's a girl
yeah.
there that's attracted to me. I'm not really attracted to her like that. I think she's aight. I'm not really that into her. But she's looking at me and she's like, man, Locario, I would love to be his girlfriend, right? So now she's trying to talk to me and interact with me to get me to like date her and see her and all this other stuff, right? So remember, I'm not really interested in her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she says,
Okay.
what can I do to get Locario to be my man? Right. So then she whispers in my ear and she says, hey, Locario, we should go out on a date sometime. And I'm like, nah, I'm not really that interested. And she says, fuck, okay, Locario, how about this? I'll give you head in the bathroom. So now I say, cool. We go to the bathroom. She gives me head. Now she's thinking, yes, Locario's getting more attracted to me. Now I'm so close to for him to be to be his girlfriend and so forth and so on. Right. So now she's like, hey, do you want to hang out? I'm like, nah, I'm good. And then she's like, come over. I'll give you head again and I'll cook you food. So then I go over her house. She gives me head. She cooks me food. She's like, yes, I'm getting closer to Locario. You see what I'm saying? So I still don't like her the whole time. Do you
The
understand?
whole time.
Okay, okay,
So
okay, okay.
Damn, that's
The
harsh.
The
problem,
whole
no, no, no,
time.
no, 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 no. This is wrong. This is wrong.
You
The problem
manipulative
is
Hey,
that
cat.
no, no, no.
let
Just a minute. Just a minute. The problem is that you are comparing the way the guy is attracted to the girl is the same way the girl is attracted to the guy. So this example is actually wrong example.
I'm
That's the
telling you.
problem.
No, I'm talking about desire, Deepak. That's what I'm talking about. I
No,
don't desire
this is
her.
not
The
how it
woman
works.
don't
Like,
desire
the
you
girl,
when
the girl,
they string you
the
along. That's what I'm
the
trying to
way
tell
the
you.
girl
oh
attracted
goddamn.
to they are like different things. I attracted, if the girl is we are attracted on the looks level. If the girl is, I'm not into if a
I'm not
girl, I'm
attracted
not
to the
into
looks
her,
level.
then it is not no matter what she says, it's not
Let's
gonna work. But that's why the game is there. That's why the game is there. And for them, the makeup is there.
Mm.
They use the makeup. We have to we don't do makeup, but that's why for us the game is there. Try to understand this thing.
So
let,
listen,
let's
I
so
let's
perfect
revisit this
follow
another
perfect
time.
timing
I
part.
wanna transition into another question before Justin has to go. So me and Justin recently or wasn't on the most recent panel, but on the old themed panel we were talking about it was actually something Mr. Locario said. So we're gonna get into some like money topics. My first question on this is 35% of guys in the seduction community have paid for sex. It's crazy. I never imagined it even being that high. It's fucking scary to me. Does paying for sex make you a weak man?
only
Um,
if you have to.
I don't know. I don't like it's weird because like I really don't think about other guys unless I'm like asked to think about this. So I've never really thought about this. Is it weak to pay for sex? I don't know. Like I don't really care what the guys are doing. I really just don't give a shit. It's not my place to judge. But I guess the best answer is like what Lucario said. Like if that's your only recourse, then it's like yeah, all right, that's what you got to do. Like instead of, or are you like Quasimodo, right? Are you Quasimodo? Okay, fine. That's your only recourse. No matter how much you learn, nothing's going to change because you're just literally fucking disgusting and scary to women. I've seen people who are like that in New York City. They're disgusting. They're scary. They're
Yeah.
very off-putting.
Welcome to the New York
Like,
City subway.
right, exactly. There's some people who are like that. They are never going to have the interest of a woman unless they pay the woman probably more than her usual rate. Okay, that's the case for Nate. That's nature. There are men who are desirable, and there are men who are not desirable. That's just life. That's nature. Okay. If you have to pay for it, okay, whatever. Like I really don't give a shit enough to judge them whether they're good or bad. Like I don't really care. I mean, I look at guys who are going out and having to validate themselves through pussy as being worse than going out and buying a hooker for one night, right?
Mhm.
Because they've got such low self value, low self worth that they need to constantly have this feed of dopamine and validation from women that they can't stop. And they're literally at like hundreds and hundreds of women they just cannot stop because if they don't have it, then then the walls are going to start imploding in. They're going to start realizing that they're still just a fucking loser who hates themselves. So it's like I don't know. It really depends on their relationship to themselves. I think that's really what makes the difference. Like if they think they're a loser and they don't like themselves and they get a hooker, that says one thing. If they have high respect for themselves and they get a hooker, that says another thing. So it's really not the thing that is the problem. It's the relationship to it. Sort of like alcohol.
Mm.
Like some people they go to alcohol, they're like, yeah, it's just a drink. Like I have it every once in a while, whatever. Other people, it has a way different connotation, a way different relationship, and affects
Mhm.
them much more deeply psychologically. So it's not really the thing itself; it's the relationship you have to that thing. And pussy will do all kinds of crazy fucked up things to the guys' heads. And so the guy who get a lot, they're like, "Oh man, look at him! He's such a fucking Chad. He gets all this pussy." It's like, yeah, but I bet you anything, 9 times out of 10, if I started digging into his psyche, like real deep one-on-one conversation, I'd discover that he hates himself almost
Mm.
almost 100% of the time.
That's real shit.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would just say it's one of those things if you have to do it, meaning that's your only source of getting it, I think that's weak because then you're just relying on the money and not relying on who you are to attract. And then what could happen is you might be in a situation where you are desiring sex, but let's say for whatever reason you ain't have the money. So now it's like you're stuck because you don't have the actual skill to do it without the money. You feel what I'm saying? So the thing is that it's a guy who refuses to work on himself to be able to attract the things and the situations he wants out of life. You see what I'm saying?
Mm,
Yeah.
sadly.
As far as paying for it, I've done it before, and for me, it was just an experience. I think I think you're there's nothing wrong with having an experience. But like Mr. Justin said, your relationship to the thing is is uh is the important part because it's like some guys think that that's the for example, some guys think that that's the only way that they can have sex with a quote unquote hot girl. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And if you truly believe that, then I'm not saying that you're a weak man, but there is a weakness in your perception of like what you think about yourself in reference to hot women, so to speak, right?
Mm.
So, again, for me, it was more of an experience. Like it was like a whole thing to go to Brazil, like before Passport Bros. Like it was like a secret like pleasure to go to Brazil and see what that whole thing was
Whoa.
like.
Miles
You know what I'm saying?
Cunningham, the first passport bro.
Yeah, yeah, I did. Me and my boys was doing that shit before Passport Bros was even the thing, and it
Mm-hmm.
was it was it was a really cool experience. And I remember like we would do that, but we would also talk to girls like just regular shit. And I remember that I had this chick that she was damn near following me around and shit, and we would it's crazy. But anyway, the point of the matter is I believe in experiences. So in my mind, it's like if you feel
Okay,
like Locario
let's
said, if you feel like you have to, then that's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I wanted an experience. So I'm like, let me see what this is like. You know what I'm saying? You pay some money and you get a chick with a fat Brazilian ass. You know what I'm saying? And you get to have some fun, and that's it. So but it's like, do I have to do that in order to enjoy my life? No. So again, it's and it also like brings me to the idea of addiction, right? You know, some people, you know, it's like to me, addiction has a lot to do with your mind, right? It's like for me, there are things that I like. There are things that I will indulge in, right? Because I really like it. But will I allow it to stop me from, you know, doing what I have to do, pay my bills and you know, get to work on time and things like that? No, right? But some men do allow that. And that's where that weakness comes in. You see what I'm saying? So it's really up to the decisions that you make and the purpose behind the decisions that you're making. And again, if you feel like that's the only way that you can get a woman to touch you, then there is a definite weakness in your perception.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking about the addiction factor. Like marijuana, for example. I never do fucking drugs, but when marijuana was legalized in Canada back in 2018,
Mhm.
first week I tried it. Never tried it since. I'm not addicted to that kind of shit. I don't
Right.
drink alcohol anymore. Like before, I was first alcohol I had, I was probably like 6 years old or some shit.
Right.
That's just like the normal culture, but I
Yeah.
don't drink alcohol anymore.
Mhm.
I was never addicted to it, but it was just a thing. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. Any other comments on this?
No, I think we're good on that one.
Yeah, we're good.
Alrighty, I'll give this a little twist. So previously, me and Justin talked about this. We are talking about Mr. Locario himself saying something about how you should never pay for a girl's Uber ride. So should you pay for a girl's Uber ride? What are your guys'
No,
perceptions on
no, no,
that?
no. So let's put that in context. So I didn't say a guy shouldn't pay for a girl's Uber ride. I said that when I was having a debate with Redbeard, he threw parties, right? And he was paying for the woman's Ubers to come to the party. So meaning
Damn,
that
that adds
he
up.
was throwing an event and he was inviting people. When you invite people to an event, you just invite the people, you tell them where it's at, you promote the event. You do not get cars for the people to come to your event unless, let's say, for example, you have an event where you might have a performer or something and you're paying their way to get to your event. But if there's going to be people who are guests who are partying at your event, they have to come their own way. So what happened was he was basically paying women to be at his party, to fill up the party. You understand what I'm saying? Because he didn't have enough game to get women to come to the party
On
on
their
his
own.
own. You understand? Like, so they weren't coming to see him. They were coming because he paid them to come. He paid for all this stuff. So he's basically paying for them to have a whole good time on his dime. So that's what I was saying, where if you're paying for a woman's Uber or you're paying a woman's way to come to where you're at, that right there is simping because you're basically saying, I don't believe that I have I'm not attractive enough for a woman to pay her own way to come see me or come where I'm at. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. So it's not about paying for a woman's Uber. Like if you are dating a girl or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and like she comes over your place or y'all are meeting each other somewhere, you could say, hey, I'm gonna get you an Uber. I'll meet you at the place, whatever, whatever. That's fine. That's a woman you're actually dating, and you don't have to do that for her to be attracted to you and want you. But in this particular situation, it was like I'm doing this because this is the only way these women will be here. You see what I'm saying? And that's an issue.
Where it happened, I think it was Red Beer Rant. It's in USA or where it happened.
Yeah, I think he's
It
in
happened
Brazil.
in
In Brazil.
So
Brazil,
yeah,
Brazil.
yeah. Here the question is also geographic location of the country, the economic situation, and all. We should consider that also. If maybe it is something in USA, maybe this argument can work. But if the girls are poor and the situation is
Who cares if they poor?
Right?
yeah, but it's like
What are
they
we
are
talking about?
expecting
But
like
but
some
why you
American
fucking
guy.
why you
So
but why is any guy fucking some ain't shit poor ass chick?
Right.
Like she can't
then
spend $8 to get herself home? Are
Yeah,
you joking?
no,
what me and
if
But
Justin
her
maybe
were
you have to
but
saying.
travel a
her
bit more
but
like
her
into different
but her makeup
countries, so you will
collection
see
is
Hang on.
but her makeup collection is hundreds of dollars.
What me and Justin were saying last time we discussed this, like 2 months ago, whenever, she has existed before you knew she existed. How was she getting around the city before? So
Right.
it's like
Right.
if she's going on a date with me, like she's gonna make her own way there. So I live in Peru, and for me to take an Uber like the best part of Peru, it cost me like 15 soles, which is $4. So it's so fucking cheap, and it's so cheap that a lot of Americans who come here would probably consider, yeah, just Uber her to the date. But me being a cheapskate, redneck Jew, no, even it being that fucking cheap, I'm still never gonna fucking do it. That's just my perspective,
But it's
though.
not about the money though. It's really not about the money. It's the principle behind it, right?
Right.
Whether it's $4 or whether it's $25, it doesn't matter. It's the principle behind your choices, the reasons
Right.
why you're doing it, and that's the question. Why are you doing the thing that you're doing? Why are you paying for this woman to go home or paying for this woman to come see you,
Right.
right? That it doesn't make any sense when she has the full capacity and will to do it on her own. So it's
Exactly.
like this. So then that digs the question of like, why are you up to things in this way? And I guarantee there's something in there about simping. There's something in there about low value, as accordance to the self. There's all kinds of shit there. Or like, oh, I don't want her to think of me in a certain way. I don't want her to be upset with me. So avoidance of conflict. It's all that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, there's rickshaws, there's public transportation, there's cabs, there's bicycles,
Right.
there's ride shares, there's all sorts of things.
Right.
Okay.
Or let that chick
And,
walk.
and
So
here's
She
the
there's
should
plenty.
thing.
be on a fucking
Eh,
unicycle, fingering
eh,
herself
but
on the way to fucking me on
no,
your
but
apartment.
here's the thing. I'm sure when Redbeard thought of these women being there, majority of them are gonna have on makeup, outfits, you understand,
Hmm.
jewelry. How could they afford all those sexy mini skirts and heels and
Hmm.
makeup, but they can't afford a $5 Uber? Like,
Do
come
you
Right.
on,
know how
son.
many
She like
fucking
showed
shoes a woman has? Like,
Yeah, like,
holy
come on,
fucking
apparently she
son.
shit.
showed up where with like a tarp that she got from Home Depot for $2.
Right.
Like these yeah, I thought this was a if it was truly about the geographical location, Deepak, like then
Mhm.
that means everybody coming to the party should show up in like a fucking in like a loincloth or something or a fucking
with,
Greek
with like
robe because they
cardboard
couldn't
taped to their
afford real
feet.
clothes. And they
I
should be
Oh
mean,
my God.
I mean,
wearing sandals made of palm leaves because they can't afford shoes. Like, what are we talking about?
Exactly.
Have
I mean,
you
the
even
thing is like
seen
you have to
some
be more
women's bank
practical.
accounts?
Like
Like,
if
I'm
you
not
if
even
somebody
kidding.
if somebody like I have traveled a lot, and I mean it's a like this guy Red Beer who travels in South America, I guess. So I mean, I will not take it as like a big problem if he's inviting girls through Uber and paying for the Uber. It's not a big deal actually.
Yes, it is.
Maybe the economic situation is the problem there,
It's
and
not the money, it's the
if this is
principle.
how it is, and like Justin said about principle, it is okay. The prince we can say the principle, but it has to be more. You have to be adaptive and practical. So.
If principles are adaptive, then they're not principles.
No,
Exactly.
but it's again, you have to learn from the again from the year, you have to learn from the religion, you have to learn from the politics. If you understand these things in a really deeper way, you have to be adaptive.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying
Your
before I got to
prince,
bounce. Yes.
you as a man will never, it won't change. You just paying for some Uber. I mean, just what I want to say is that paying for $5 for Uber will not make you simp. This
That's literally the
Yeah.
definition of simping.
This
You're
is, I will not
Here's the
say. I mean,
phrase.
then
Listen,
you can say
listen,
like,
listen.
okay, you invite the girl for the date, and if you pay for the girl dinner, then it's also a simping. Maybe it's
It
like
is.
not
That is
$5.
simping
So,
if you're going
so,
to dinner and you don't
so
want to go to
Yeah,
hold
dinner.
on a
but
second because I gotta bounce out of here. So I was listening to this is the last thing I gotta say, and then I gotta bounce. So I was listening to this old folk singer, this old American folk singer, just played a guitar, really old guy. And he said, the path of least resistance is what makes the river crooked.
Mm.
So it's not about just that one little, like, no big deal, pay for do this. No big deal, pay for that. No big deal, adapt, change to this or that. That's the same thing when the trickle of water, it starts off in a straight line, hits a small pebble. What's it do? Just gently goes around it, no big deal. Then it hits a stick, goes around that one, no big deal. Then hits a boulder, no big deal. Hits this, no big deal. Before you know it, the river is no longer straight, it's crooked.
Hmm.
It no longer
there you
has
have to
integrity.
balls to say no. At one time, you have to balls
So
to say
so
no.
the so
Simple.
so just remember my parting words. The path of least resistance is what makes the river crooked. The cumulative path of least resistance is what makes river crooked. So
Right.
do not compromise your principles, your codes, your rules, your values. Compromise none of it, especially for pussy. And with that, I'm out of here, guys.
All right,
Boom.
we'll
Thank you
holler
for
at you,
having me
Thank
on,
Justin.
you.
Swag.
Fuck yeah.
Well,
Peace,
take
Justin.
care.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So yeah, that's that's definitely simping. When you're basically bending over backwards to accommodate the woman, that's what simping is. So the woman is capable of paying her own way, getting there, getting dressed. You understand what I'm saying? Like, because if that's the case, you might as well had went to the store with her, bought her outfit, helped her try it on, get her shoes, did her makeup, and then it's like, where does it stop? Like, what are we talking about? Like, this is a grown ass woman. So tell her, hey, I'm having a party. This is the address. Come through. That's all. That's all the work you need to do.
That's it.
That's it.
I'll also throw on top of this, like, obviously most guys probably can't answer this question, but have you ever seen a woman's bank account? Like, I'm a married man, so like for me, at least one woman. But what I'm getting at here is there are videos now these days, those street interviews where they're talking like how much should a man or make. But there was an interesting one I saw where the guy, a boyfriend, realized his girlfriend has like $100,000 in savings and he's paying for everything. My point being, men, a lot of men are paying for themselves and for a woman, and then the woman is just saving money because she's spending less than what a man is spending. So
Mm,
there's a differentiation in the flow of financials, meaning that women are more likely to save more money anyway because men are
mhm,
fucking spending it simping, spending on OnlyFans, spending it on her makeup, her Ubers, that kind of thing. So it's
mhm,
funny because the more simping that goes on, the more money is shifted in the pockets of women anyway. So it's so ironic that a lot of the time, even in poor countries, these women don't even need the money. They have more money than the fucking guys do.
that's
Yep.
a fact. It's real stuff.
Yep.
So let's jump on to the next one. Similar, should you pay? And this can also be a very cultural thing, especially for Americans. So just bear in mind, any Americans watching, Europeans are probably going to have a different answer. Should you pay for a girl's food at a restaurant or should you split?
Well, this is the thing. Ain't no dates at restaurants until a woman's my woman, until she's my
Right.
girlfriend. So
Exactly.
so at that point, I'm just paying the bill because that's my girl. But I don't make a woman my girl until we've been dating for at least 12 to 18 months. You see what I'm saying? And I actually talk about that on the master the vetting process program, which you guys should get at shoplocario.com. I'm just plugging that real quick. And it's at a discount price right now. You can go there, get it, master the vetting process so you can learn how to vet women so that you don't take women who are not your girlfriend out to dinner and to
Exactly.
food and all that other extra stuff and waste your time and energy with women who haven't proven that they're worth that type of outing. You see what I'm saying?
Boom. That is so good. If I was an American Jew, that's what I would do. Yeah. Because like, Americans, I'm not American, I'm Canadian. If you're American, there's the bias of not splitting. And if you ever spend time in Europe, like everyone fucking splits. It's fucking awesome. That's why I loved it so much. So it's a crazy thing. That is such a European answer, Mr. Lucario. That's fascinating. Fucking guys, just stop going on fucking restaurant dates. I've been saying this for different reasons. Like, essentially, my main reason being restaurants are not fun. You gotta wait for the waitress. There's the, especially if you're American, the problem of who fucking pays. Nobody fucking knows anymore. And it's like, again, that's another can of worms, but that's a social concept. Are you the one setting the expectations or is society's setting the expectations?
Mm.
But my main point being, um, I design my first dates so that they are genuinely fun. So if I prioritize the fun, the conversation becomes secondary for the new guys getting into it, so they don't have to worry about that. But yeah, anyway, back to you guys on split or pay.
Pay.
Split or pay? Well, if in my opinion, as a man, when it comes to paying, it has more to do with a certain level of respect and authority. So if I invite a woman out for drinks, I'm usually gonna pay for everything. Whatever I'm leading with, I'm gonna foot the bill. But and that's exactly why certain types of dates a woman doesn't get to go on with me until she becomes my girlfriend or until she has shown herself to be worth the time, effort, and resource. But yeah, if I invite a woman out for drinks, then I'm gonna take care of everything. And usually there's also gonna be a cap on how many drinks because I'm not gonna sit here with you all fucking night till we get to drink number six because I just want to waste my fucking time sitting here trying to build intimacy or any of those other things. By the first to second drink, I should already know if we going back to my place or it's time to end the date. And that's another thing with like dinner dates. Let's just say you realize that this chick is annoying, but you've already ordered food and you're actually hungry, right? Because if you know
Mhm.
you're going to dinner, it's like, well, I'm not gonna eat. I'm gonna wait till, I'm not gonna have that extra snack or whatever it is. I'm gonna wait till I go to dinner. So now I'm sitting here kind of committed to this whole situation, and I'm already annoyed by this chick, but I'm still gonna fucking feed her? Hell no. And it's like, but it's like with a drink, I could easily just be like, hey, you can finish your drink yourself,
Mhm.
or I could just, you know, bef it's just a simpler thing and it's less committal,
Right.
right? So, if I understand that I don't like this chick, it's like we could end the date right here. I mean, of course you could walk out on dinner, but like I said, if you're hungry and you've already ordered and shit, it's there's that whole thing like, man, I shouldn't I shouldn't do this. But anyway, in my opinion, I think and again, this is more about leadership and authority. It's less about trying to make a woman like me. Because if I'm actually paying, more than likely she already likes me. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But again, that has to do with my masculine identity. And if I know I'm dealing with a woman that doesn't like me, usually it doesn't go past the first drink. Like once I realize, oh, this chick is not feeling me, I'm already like, hey, so you need me to walk you to your car? Like,
Right. We're
or
done.
this has been nice, but I'm gonna get out of here. That type of thing.
Mhm.
Deepak, how about you?
Um, I mean, normally I pay, um, but if the girl is not the right girl, I mean, then I will go for the split. But majority of the times I pay, even if we're meeting for the first date and I have not yet slept with her, then still I pay. No matter it is, yeah, I mean, like whatever the type of girl she is, but normally I pay. So I
Alrighty.
don't make these things as a very big deal actually. I mean, I go for the bigger picture, like paying for the Uber, paying for the dates. I'm paying. I don't see this thing. Even if I'm paying, and she do not sleep with me, it's okay. That's how it is. But I still prefer to pay.
Alrighty.
So
Last
I have to
question
go soon,
on the
Atsu, because I have to wake up and I have to teach the students. So I
alright.
will thank you guys. Thank you, Ice White and
Yeah, that's what's up.
Miles and Locario. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Good
And
good
it's a
meeting you.
good, interesting conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
Meet you again.
Yes, sir. Keep doing what you do, man. Keep doing what you
Yeah.
do.
Thank
We
you. And
we
you
All
we
right.
also.
could
Uh,
set up
uh,
a debate in August or
yeah.
something. That would be
No
pretty funny.
problem. Yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
sh you should see Mike, the Chinese guy, he was debating Mr. Locario a
Oh
few
my
months
God.
back. You should watch that. It's
Who
pretty
this Chinese
funny.
guy? Which Chinese guy?
The one who lives in Las Vegas, Mike Pickup Alpha.
Ah, okay.
That shit
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
hilarious,
Yeah.
dude.
It was
That's
fucking
that would be
hilarious,
interesting.
man.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Invite me. I mean, I'm ready. Okay. Thank you very
Alrighty.
much.
All right. All
Thank
right.
you.
Take
No
it easy,
worries.
bro.
All right.
Thanks. Alrighty, let's jump on to the next last question on the money stuff. And just to tie this up, under what circumstances should guys consider providing for one? So I'm glad Mr. Lucario mentioned she has to be my woman first in
Mm-hmm.
order to have those restaurant dates. So that clears it up a lot for me. That makes a lot of sense. Under what circumstances, just like that example, should you start providing?
Um, yeah, it definitely has to be a chick who is your girl, your wife. It can't be a girl you're just dating or fucking. And this is why, again, guys, go to shoplocario.com, master the vetting process program, download that today, because what happens is that a lot of guys, what they do is they think at the beginning of meeting a woman, that is the beginning of them, quote unquote, providing. And
Mhm.
also providing is not just money. You understand what I'm saying? Providing is also guidance. It's also knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? So even that, I'm not giving a woman that if I just met her. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Like some of those might seep through just because if you're that guy, it just kind of, what I'm saying, she pick up on it. But a lot of providing comes in after the fact of a woman showing that she's worth that, because it's not free. There's no free game. You understand? Like
Exactly.
there's a price that women have to pay for it. And
Yeah.
also there's a price that you have to pay as a man to be able to train yourself to actually be a guy that can have a girlfriend or wife and make that something beneficial to you and her. So a lot of times what happens is that you guys want a girlfriend, but are you the type of guy who can be a boyfriend? Are you the type of guy that could be a husband? That's also important too.
I'll say this, as men, we're always providing, right? So here's the thing, as even before a woman becomes our girl, we're still providing. Like we're providing masculine presence. And even with our fuck buddies, we're providing dick, right? So there's certain things that we're always gonna like.
She should be thanking us for our service.
No,
Exactly.
it's the truth. It's really the truth. I mean, sex doesn't happen unless we can get an erection. So if you getting an erection is a blessing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I honestly believe that a lot of people just think that, oh, if a woman is sexy, that the guy's dick is automatically gonna get hard. Like, no, it's
Right.
not. It's not like that. Like, even fuck buddies, you still have to be compatible with your fuck buddy. This is
Right.
why knowing who you are as a man is so important. But at what point do we actually begin like consciously providing, like, as a choice, is when she shows that she is an asset to us, meaning that through her compatibility, through her willingness to trust in us and follow our lead, that she's showing that she can enhance our purpose,
Hmm.
right? So if my purpose is being a carpenter, somehow she got on chat gpt, or she went online and find out how to find me lumber at cents on the dollar, because
Hmm.
she's just that good at doing research and finding out lumber liquidators or whatever the fuck it is, right? So now I'm a carpenter and I was always doing great work, but now I get my lumber for much cheaper simply because my girl understood my vision, and she wanted to enhance that. You get what I'm saying? So now she's actually literally making my cash flow better. So it only makes sense that I now provide for her, because she's providing for me through her trust in me and her willingness to enhance my journey.
Yeah, and on top of that, real quick, I was going to say too, is that a lot of times the reason why you guys don't get cooperation from women, or women give you a hard time, give you attitudes and all those things, is because they recognize that they're not going to get anything worthy out of you. You
Mm,
understand? So meaning, this is what you got to understand, right? So a woman knows that, okay, if I'm gonna be fucking with a man, that means that I'm going to be of service to that man. But if I'm going to be of service to this man, I got to get something out of this, which means some consistency, which means some reliability, which means some masculinity. So if you are not that off rip, that's why she'll give you. You understand what I'm saying? That's why she's giving you that energy. And a lot of times women can tell based on how you come at them, the way that your energy in the situation. They're like, okay, this guy, he's on some BS. And the funny part is 9 times out of 10, they right. Because most guys are like that. Because most guys, what they do is that they do as much as they can to sort of just uh get to sex. So they're like, whatever I need to be, say, and do, I will do that to get to sex. You see what I'm saying? But what happens is when a woman meets an actual man, she's like, okay, this guy is not to be played around with or fucked with. And I can tell based on his demeanor, how he comes at me, and what he actually did. You know what's so funny? The simplest shit. I'll be on a dating app. And one of the number one things I hear from women on dating apps to be like, wow, you know, you just set the date really quick. And, you know, I usually like talk to a guy back and forth. And for some reason, we're
for
just
weeks
here. And
and
I just
months.
like,
Yeah.
it just happened so quickly. And you were just so on point and blah, 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 blah. Right. And that's simple shit, just setting the date. So what happens is that when you can't do the simple shit and she recognizes that, that's where the uncooperative behavior is going to come from. And that's coming from her seeing that she's not going to really get anything out of you or any worth in this situation for her to give back. You see what I'm saying? That's what you guys got to understand.
Word.
Mm. Alrighty, just switching audio. Give me a few seconds. Alrighty, on to the next one. I'm glad Miles kind of mentioned this a bit earlier. There seems to be a lot of sexless marriages and sexless relationships out there with women refusing to have sex with their own boyfriend or husband. What can men do to prevent this situation or to turn it around and get out of it? Especially for something like a sexless marriage where getting out of a marriage isn't so ideal.
Turning it what can they do to turn it around?
Or prevent it.
Oh, I
Okay,
know how
so
they can
there's
prevent it.
only prevention.
Mm.
There's only prevention, and the way to prevent it is to basically do what we've been saying, and that is to have things on your terms. So that means the woman knows that you're not the she has to do things the way you like them done, and she cannot renege, meaning that she cannot change the program. So as a man, you have to say to yourself, well, my program is that I want a woman who is ready and willing to receive me at all times. There's only a couple of exceptions, and that is like a medical condition, or like she's actually like close to death type sick. You understand? Those are the only two that's the only way that we don't have a problem. But other than that, we understand that we built our relationship initially on a serious and lasting sexual attraction for each other through compatibility, through vetting, and through consistency. So I will never hear, "Oh, I'm too tired tonight, hun." I will never hear that. I will never fucking hear that. I swear to you, I was in a relationship. I was in a 13-year relationship,
Mm.
and I went to go initiate. And she said, I mean, a lot of other things was happening, but I'm just giving you the detail based on the conversation. She said to me, "Oh, we don't do that anymore."
Shit.
Damn.
And I moved out that Friday.
Mm.
That Friday, all my shit was gone. You understand what I'm saying? So when I say these things, I mean, like, I've lived them. Like, oh, the sex is off the table.
Miles,
And
I
I didn't
think
even, there wasn't even an argument. Understand me. There wasn't even an argument. It was literally like, I walked out the room, and then I poked my head back in the room, and I said, "Just so you know, all my stuff will be out of here by Friday." And then that's it. That was it. It was like,
Mm.
you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, like the,
Damn.
the only way to stop sexless marriages is only prevention. You can't turn that shit around. Once a woman knows that she can tell you when and where and how sex is gonna happen, she's gonna use that card later on, and that's how you get into sexless marriages. So you got to build it on a foundation of, yeah, you can never deny me sex ever. And
Miles,
and if
she
and,
was
and if the pussy ain't
she
working,
was
the mouth will always work. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Miles, she was just she was you were supposed to pass her shit test, bro.
Yeah, I was supposed to I failed miserably, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Well, it takes a lot of balls to like say that this happened to you before, you know. And what was the first example you gave? You said two things. The second one being if she's in like a terminal illness or something, she's
Yeah,
dying.
yeah,
What
like
was the
terminal
first one?
illness where the doctor says, yeah, you can't have sex right now because you just had a procedure, or you're in a certain condition where sex is not conducive to your health.
Yeah. So just
Or
like after birth for 6 weeks or
yeah,
something.
something like that. That's the only way. Like if it's physically impossible for us to fuck, then okay, you got it. Like it's fine. But there's no way that she can take it upon herself without any rational or good reasoning to say that she's not going to have sex with me, or else we should not be together. And again, I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, like I'm some like abusive type of, because I know it's so easy for people
Right.
to
You know how
take shit the
people say,
wrong
"Are you
fucking way.
saying Miles that?" Blah blah. You know,
But
you know how
but
that
but
goes.
that's why vetting is so important. That's why vetting and compatibility is so important, because there are certain things that a woman should not ever tell me. And she should also know that once she tells me that, it's over. Like I can't, there's no going back. Like there's no, oh, well, I was joking, or I'm sorry. No, we don't do
Mm-hmm.
those things. We don't do those, because here's the thing. And I know I heard this from somebody, but it's like I can't tell a woman that I'm not in the mood to be masculine today.
Right. Exactly.
Get what I'm saying? And so as far as the dynamics goes, I'm a woman. Excuse me. I'm a man. You're a woman. I penetrate. You receive.
Mm-hmm.
That should always be on the table, because we're in this thing because we are sexually attracted to each other. So that should always be on the fucking table. For you guys who are in marriages or relationships where your girl fucking dictates and tells you when sex is gonna happen, I'm sorry, bro, you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact that there's another guy on this planet that she would never do that to.
Mm.
And truthfully, she should be with him, not with you.
Mm.
But a lot of guys don't want to hear that shit. You see what I'm saying? A lot of guys
The,
don't want to hear that.
the whole reason you're in a relationship is because of sex, basically. You're a man, she's a woman. You're not in a relationship with a man as a man. And it's like that makes no sense. You are in partnership as a man with a woman
Exactly.
because you want to have sex. So sex is
Exactly. Right.
central to everything.
The essentially basal and innate reason we are together is because there is a physical sexual compatibility between us.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
should always be on the table. And if
Mm-hmm.
it's not, then there is something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. And on top of that, the way to prevent that, like we were saying, is, you got to vet. You understand what I'm saying? This is why, again, shop Locario.com, get the Master the Vetting Process program, because I teach you guys how to vet women so you will never have a sexless marriage. You will never have a girlfriend who disrespects you and doesn't want to have sex with you. You will never be on dates or hooking up with girls who are going to give you a bunch of shit. Like, none of that's going to happen with vetting. And see, this is the thing, is that most guys, what happens is they get themselves into these situations because they will do whatever they feel they need to do in order to get sex. You understand what I'm saying? Because even for example, you got guys who don't have game, who they'll say stupid shit like, "Oh well, this girl has to look like this, or I'm not gonna date her if she looks like that, and I'm not gonna talk to her if she says," like, they're all over the place with, putting things on a pedestal that have nothing to do with nothing. You understand?
Mhm.
Their whole thought process is, well, she looks like this, so I'm just gonna deal with her bullshit because she's hot. You see what I'm saying? Like, all of these different things. And that causes these guys to be in situations where the woman's gonna disrespect them, where the woman's not gonna want to fuck with them, where the woman's gonna act all funny style and stupid. And then they're gonna be like, damn, how do I fix this? It was never fixed. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, it was always broken.
It was always broken.
You know what I'm saying? Like your shit was always broken. And that's because you ain't have no game, and you thought chasing a chick just based on how she looked, even though she's disrespecting you, was the shit. You feel what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Man.
Crazy,
100%.
man.
Alrighty, let's jump on to the next one. Miles, I think you're gonna love this one. How can guys lock down on having a stronger identity?
Let me see. How can well, first of all, they can go to masculineidentitymembership.com, and
Facts.
right now, as of this recording, there is basically 6 days left. I have a 99 cents for the first month sale going on. That they could join the membership. They could be a part of our Monday night Zoom calls. We do calls like this on every Monday night. And a lot of guys are on there and they're sharing stories, asking questions, and it's a beautiful conversation. So masculineidentitymembership.com, and 99 cents. And to get the 99-cent discount, you have to put in the code word summer on the checkout page. Summer, SUMMER. So all right, guys, appreciate the opportunity to plug. But to really get into your identity, it goes back to something that I said earlier about feeling, not emotion, but feeling. Things have to feel right things, meaning that they have to make sense based on your instinct as a man. And then from there, you have to get into every detail. You understand? Every detail of your life has to have a purpose and a reason behind it.
Mhm.
And then with that being said, you have to have a certain level of confidence and courage to even make those decisions. So for example, I'm sitting here in a hotel room, but I purposely pointed the camera a certain way. I'm purposely wearing shades. I purposely shave every day to get my baldy looking a certain way. I'm purposely wearing this chain with this burgundy, this like fuchsia burgundy shirt. So I can, you understand what I'm saying? I've made all these decisions and it's a part of my identity. Now, what does the average guy do? The average guy does research and finds out what other people do when they join Zoom calls, maybe, right? So, maybe the average guy does the thing where they blur the background or something, or they do the thing where they makes them look like they're in a mansion with the piano in the back or something like that. And here's the thing, if you do it because that's what you want to do, then that's your masculine identity. But if you did it because you did the research and that's what most guys do, then you're moving further and further away from your masculine identity. So I guess what I'm trying to say, if I had to sum it up into one word, is autonomy, meaning that I make decisions for myself and I stand by them and I don't give a fuck who likes them or dislike them because the only person that's responsible for them is me.
Real talk. Real talk.
Do you have any other comments on this?
Nah, I just wanted to say thanks for having us on here, man. You know what I'm saying? It's always a pleasure. You know what I mean? It's real talk.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that you put this this platform together, you know what I'm saying, to have a lot of people with different walks of life come through and all that other stuff, you know what I'm saying? And Ice White, I appreciate you, man, because you got some real game because you was able to get Miles to be on the whole episode. I was like, Miles ain't never coming on
I ain't
here.
never stayed on this long. Facts. But yeah, shout out to you, Ice White, because you keep it objective and
Right.
balanced. So I
Right.
appreciate that.
That's what's up.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's all good. It's Game Global. So that's just coincidentally, that's the name I came up with years ago, just on Global Alpha Males was the name of Joe and Kieran's thing before. And I was like, that's an E away from game. So, and then 4 letters is too much. So
Right.
Game Global is what we went for. And then what I went for. And then everything just made even more sense over time. So,
Facts.
funny, speaking of identity, that's like how the Game Global identity has shifted
Mhm.
because you can't know everything in
Right.
advance. There's experimentation and
Mhm.
in some sense fate comes along if
Yeah.
you will.
Right.
So anyway, thanks guys for jumping in here. I always
Yeah.
love having you guys on. Maybe we'll have, once I'm back in a few weeks, a debate between Mr. Locario and Deepak if
Right.
anyone else wants to jump in there. That would be pretty funny.
You're gonna get
Pretty funny.
Deepak and Marcus. That'll be fucking hilarious.
My another free for all will just be another disaster.
I know.
I don't know.
Oh man.
Alrighty,
Safe travels, Ice.
All right,
Appreciate you,
man.
bro.
Well, appreciate you, man.
I'll
We're
be
gonna
on the
holler.
East Coast actually. I'll be
Okay.
on Canadian East Coast. I'll be back in Nova Scotia, not so far from Boston or New York,
Okay. That's
or
what's up,
in
man.
some sense. But thanks for jumping on. Any
All
final
right, man.
comments?
Just go to
Yeah.
shoplocario.com and masculineidentitymembership.com. All
Yep.
right. All right,
Alrighty.
y'all. We out. Peace.
Game on, game on. I'm gonna stay in, and if you guys in the chat have any questions for me, you don't have to drop a super chat, but just fucking write a question in the chat for me, and I'm happy to fucking answer for, let's say, the next 20 minutes, maybe. Whatever. We'll just fucking wing it. Drop me whatever questions you want. I'm a man of many surprises. I'm not making like infield or any of that shit. I'm the king of message game. What I'm known for, aside from Game Global, is writing one of the best-selling online dating books of all time. It's all about messaging, online dating, and social media. And like I was saying, well, mostly before this was live, I was talking about virtual presence and digital presence. Did you guys know 200 years ago, Crazy fact right here. You are exposed to more information in one day right now than anyone on Earth was exposed to in an entire lifetime 200 years ago. It's a crazy fucking statistic when you really think about it. More information. So what you're seeing in terms of marketing, you know how many fucking ads you see in a day? It's just fucking crazy, and we just like ignore most of them. But we get so much information in one day. It's not just about the ads, but effectively the link here is marketing and dating. And if you're competing against so much fucking information, then that makes things kind of harder in some sense. So this is where you got to realize where the idea, at least, you don't have to be a marketing expert, but the idea of marketing comes into dating. Because if you are not virtually present or physically present, I kind of hinted at this at the start of the live stream. If you don't leave the house, if you leave the house like once a week just to go grocery shopping for 1 hour, that is your physical presence. You get like 2 dozen people see that you exist, and then you go home, and that's it. That's your physical presence. And you wonder why your dating life is so limited. It's because you don't leave the fucking house. And that's super fucking obvious, but it goes the same way. And people are gonna fucking criticize me for saying this. It goes the same fucking way for your virtual presence. If you refuse to use Facebook, if you refuse to use Instagram, and you refuse to have any virtual presence at all, you're shooting yourself in the foot with your virtual presence. Like, I understand some guys don't want to waste their time on social media, or they were turned off by Tinder. Tinder is shit, all kinds of excuses. Believe what you want, but where are you going to market yourself? Everything comes down to your presence and your marketing. It's the same fucking thing. Mr. Locario was talking about at the very start how he got a billboard in Times Square. That is marketing. If he didn't put that there, if he had no YouTube channel, if you didn't know he existed, then you wouldn't know he fucking existed. That is the point. Mr. Locario, you're probably, if you're subscribed to him, you know he exists because of his virtual presence, unless you met him in person in New York or something. Your presence is necessary for your marketing. So every time you make an excuse for, I don't want to have Facebook, I don't want to have Instagram, I don't want to have Tinder, I don't want to go to nightclubs, that is something you're eliminating from your marketing. You're not marketing yourself enough. If you are lacking dating opportunity, it's kind of your own fault because you're not even putting yourself out there in the first fucking place. And I see this come up over and over again, and I'm fucking tired of this shit. When people go on Reddit or Game Global groups and whatever, and they say, where can I meet women? You're just telling me you don't leave the fucking house. You don't leave the house. You don't use Tinder. You don't do a damn thing about it. So nothing's gonna happen in return. It's that fucking simple. I don't want to spend my time ranting. I'm probably a good ranter now that I think about it, but that's what it comes down to. You need to market yourself. And for those of you who are unwilling to dive into things like Instagram, I get it. I fucking hate Instagram. I don't use it. Well, I used to say I don't really use Instagram. I have been on Instagram since like 2014 or some shit, or way before that. But I wasn't really using it. If you want to stop, if you want to not use Instagram because you think it's going to be a waste of your time, there's a solution. It's simply using Instagram for the right reasons. So I'm uploading free Instagram reels per day at this point. 2 years ago, I was uploading nothing per day. I was using it a lot back in 2018, and then not so much after that. By 2019, I pretty much stopped using it. There's a difference between making yourself virtually present, making use of Instagram, and using Instagram to look at ass and titties all fucking day. If you're using Instagram to look at ass and titties all fucking day, you're not really going to get anything out of it unless you're conducting research and connecting with the women in bikinis and they are following you. That is worth your time probably. But if you're making Instagram reels, uploading it, and it takes 1 minute to fucking upload a video on Instagram, that is there as your social media resume. That's part of your message game. That's part of your marketing. Message game is marketing. And for those of you who are confused what message game actually is, people who are way behind on the fucking times still calling it text game. It's not fucking text game. Nobody's using SMS anymore. It's 2025. Everything is message game. Message game is the overarching branch of game. Social media, online dating, and messaging. Text game is too small-minded. It does not consider online dating, social media. It only considers the messaging aspect. So anyone still using the T word is outdated. Forget all the shit that they're saying. They don't have a book that outperforms mine on this subject. And virtual presence will do the marketing for you. So the difference is between text game and message game. Texting is an action. Messaging is a marketing strategy. That is the fucking difference. You have to market yourself in order to get sales. And it works the same in dating, not to get sales exactly, but to get prospects, women who are interested in dating you. So building up a solid Instagram profile. And I get it. Maybe you don't know where to fuck to start. You got to fucking start somewhere. It's all about experimentation. You got to fucking start somewhere. Drop your questions into the chat, guys. I'll be happy to answer any question you guys throw at me. I'm just letting you know this is why I'm the fucking king of message game because I created the fucking concept, the free aspects of it, the rules of message game, messaging, online dating, social media. Nobody ever pushed message game or text game that far. It was only until I fucking came along, took charge, and revolutionized everything. For you guys who made it this far, if you scan, let me go back on camera here. If you scan this QR code or any here, this one has high heel shoes in front of it. If you scan the QR codes right here, it will take you to MGAI, Message Game AI. I will give you right now an access code for you to use it for free for 2 months and 7 days. By default, if you have code or no code, discount code, coupon code, whatever, regardless of the code, you'll get 7 days free usage as like a free trial. But if you use the code, you get 2 months plus the free trial. So it's 2 months and 7 days. That's how it works. You'll get 2 months and 7 days worth of free access to MGAI, the AI wingman for online dating, if you use code, capital letters, no spaces, message game coach. So I'll put that in the chat box. It's also going to be in the description too. So take a look at that. Message game coach. That's the fucking code. 2 months free access. I met my wife through Tinder. Just think about like every relationship you ever had. How did you meet those women? So I made a post about this recently. First girlfriend, we met in school apparently. I didn't remember her, but she remembered me. So technically we met in school, but after that, it was like a Facebook or something. My second girlfriend, who the fuck was that? My second girlfriend was like from an event, basically. My third girlfriend was from, ironically, the same fucking event, and she got into a relationship with me later after that other girl from the same event. I got two girlfriends from one fucking event. Think about that. That's just fucking insane. Um, doesn't really kick in. They were best friends, so it makes sense. Fucking dog, right? Um, and then the fourth girlfriend I had, I probably met her number four. Yeah, number four was Tinder. Number five, girlfriend number five, I met at the workplace. And there are guys who say, don't shit where you eat, don't date women you work with or ask them out on dates. Anyone who is saying that is a fucking idiot. Complete fucking retard. Because they're just telling me either they haven't fucking done it or they did do it and they fucked it up. So they don't know how to do it because they never fucking did it or they did it completely fucking wrong. So they're looking at it the wrong way. I made a video about this fucking years ago. How to date coworkers. The free ways to date coworkers safely. I have dated multiple coworkers. One became my girlfriend. Another one, for example, was a fuck buddy while I had another girlfriend at the time. So don't shit you where you eat is stupid advice. Just take it from me. I have been there and I made it work. I didn't marry her, but I got a relationship. There's a video for that. My girlfriend number six, I met through Tinder. Girlfriend number seven, Tinder. And girlfriend number seven is wife number one. My wife. I married her. So I'm telling you guys, I met my wife through Tinder. Tinder is not a scary place. Scary Tinder. Shouldn't be fucking scared of dating apps. You should be marketing yourself. So whatever fucking excuses you have, shove them up your ass, shit them out somewhere where they're gonna flush away into a dirty sewer that you will never ever fucking see, and take a dive into the fucking virtual universe. Again, physical presence, virtual presence. It's literally exposure. If I get 1 million subscribers on YouTube, I require exposure for that to millions more people. So if I was not on YouTube, you wouldn't be here watching me right now. Like this is the importance of virtual presence. So let me just go through these questions here. How long should you message them before setting a date? Good question. That's a classic. Um, I married her in the state. What does that mean? Can you clarify? The state? The state of Peru? Um, how long should you message them before setting a date? There are 3 rules of message games. So, rule number 1 is skip the bullshit. And like, at least I don't want to fucking play with made up statistics here, but I imagine at least 90% of guys are just not doing rule number 1 of message game. Rule number 1 of message game is skip the bullshit. So what that means is stop asking her, like we kind of mentioned before, stop interviewing, stop saying, how's your day? How are you finding Tinder so far? Or, lines like, hey, trouble. You need to ask her a fucking question with a question mark, prompt a response, inspire her to respond in a specific way. Skip the bullshit. Stop saying, hey, how are you? I have seen, oh my God, I could kill myself over this. Okay, demonetized. I shouldn't be saying that shit. I've seen a frustrating amount of people who upload screenshots on Reddit, Telegram, anywhere I fucking see, and they say, how do I get on a date with her? Like, how do I whatever. And the screenshot is he says to her, hey. She says, hey. He says, hey, how are you? She says, I'm good, thanks. HBU, how about you? And then, okay, you're just going in fucking circles. You haven't done anything. So that's rule number 1 of message games. Skip the bullshit. Rule number 2, similar thing. Lead. It's a 1-word rule. Lead. Leadership is such a big fucking thing that we talked about on this panel today. Lead the fucking conversation. You are the man. What the fuck are you waiting for? Are you waiting for her to lead? If she was the one leading, then how many guys did she fucking have sex with? 1,057? Just like Bonnie Blue? You have to be the one to fucking lead. Because by your experience, women are not cold approaching you every fucking day. So that's how you know automatically that you need to be the one fucking leading. If you want to go to the fucking bathroom, you just fucking go to the bathroom because you need the piss. Why the fuck would you wait for permission or wait for someone to pull you by the dick and take you to the bathroom? You need to fucking go by yourself. So you need to teach yourself You need to be the one leading. As simple as that. So in practical terms, you need to lead that conversation. And that is by asking questions, not the wrong questions, that's another can of worms, but asking a question that prompts a response is leading. If you're just saying all these random things that make no fucking sense, that's not going anywhere. If you, for example, ask her what her job is, you're just extracting useless information. That's not leading. So don't confuse asking questions with leading. You have to ask the relevant questions, which ties in to rule number 3, meet. Rule number 3 of message game is meet. So first rule, skip the bullshit. Second rule, lead. Third rule, meet. And they all flow into each other. So first you skip the bullshit, and by skipping the bullshit, you're leading. And then by leading, you are leading it towards meeting. So that's rule number 3, which is also the ideal result of message game. Meet. The whole purpose of you messaging her is to meet. So when you say, how long should you message before meeting, before setting a date? Really, you should be going on the fucking date within a few days of knowing each other fucking existing. So that's the reality of it. Of course, there are cases, I've been on dates before where maybe I was going away to another city or something. So, and we matched like 2 days before, so there was no time for it. So we waited a few weeks, and when I was back in the city, when she was back in the same city and had time, whatever, okay. But the point is, I was going on other dates in that time. So it's not like I was waiting for her. The opportunity reopened. And I had all these other opportunities that I was going on these dates. And I think for this particular one that I'm thinking of, I already had a girlfriend. So I'm not waiting for her. There's a simple concept that I have where so many people could just implement this and it would fucking change their life. It's so fucking simple. I call it the 2-week line. So imagine in your head that there's a line of women lining up for you, and this line just represents who's talking to you, who's sending you messages. So who you're actively talking to, communicating with. So imagine a 2-week line. And even when I was like a teenager, I was messaging like at least 3 women at a time. So like not at a time, but what I mean here is like there are 3 main women who are messaging me very actively at any fucking point. Back when I was a teenager, before like the internet was big. So imagine this line. I got these 3 women at the front, and they're messaging me all the fucking time. So they're at the front. And then if there's one that says she can't meet for I try to set a date and she can't because she's busy, whatever. She goes to the back of the line for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I don't bother messaging her, or you just really fucking calm it down. You don't have to message women that much. Your number of messages can be like 1 per day, and you can still get dates with them. I have hundreds of fucking examples of my messages with women, which you can see in the best-selling book, The Message Game. So check that out. And there's a Telegram group with tens of thousands of screenshots from myself and from others of their message game and my message game, going on dates, mistakes, failures, successes. And I understood over time what works and what doesn't. So anyway, to answer this question, now that I got some of the concepts out of the way, how long should you message before a meeting? Really, a few days. But the other part you got to remember here is it would be a mistake to anything you set as a date more than 2 or 3 days away is a draft. It's a draft date, and you have to reconfirm 2 days before. So essentially, the ideal time for setting a date, and some guys just like to, let's go on a date right now. I'm a busy guy, so it depends on your lifestyle. I was never looking for like instant meetups the same day we matched. I was just like lining things up. So some guys do it instantly, like same day. I have in some cases, but generally I was always too busy. Um, 2 days away is the ideal time to set a date. If she's busy for the next 2 days, if you're busy for the next 2 days, still set a fucking date, but just understand that it's a draft. It's a draft date. And then 2 days before that draft date, you need to confirm that it's no longer a draft date. That, okay, we do have this. It's like you have to set a reminder. You don't have to set a reminder for yourself, but you just have to know 2 days before that draft date, if you set a date more than 2 or 3 days away, you have to be on the same page again, so both of you are competently acknowledging that the date is still happening. Because again, with the overflow of information, the fact that you're exposed to so much information in one day than someone was back in their entire lifetime 200 years ago, there's so much information going on. You know that how women forget things? Maybe they're like, oh, I forgot we had a date today, or oh shit, they gotta get ready, they gotta choose their dress, put their makeup on, they gotta get fucking dressed and all that shit. They gotta Uber there, bus there, whatever. They need to know that the date is fucking happening. So you need to make sure that it fucking happens by reconfirming 2 days before, if you had to set it more than 2 days ahead because both of you were busy. So again, to directly answer this question, that I got a lot of that out the way. In the next few days, you should not be fucking pen pals. You should be messaging for a few days and then meet at the maximum. If you are messaging for weeks, for months, for fucking years, you are disobeying the third rule of message game. The third rule of message game is meet. The entire purpose of meeting, yeah, it's dating. The entire purpose of mating, dating, having a relationship is to physically be in each other's presence. So you have to meet. Messaging is for the purpose of meeting. So within a few days, you should meet. Okay, that was a super fucking long answer. But for real, that's how it is. Another quick thing I'll add on this, because this is super interesting. When a woman gives the objection, which does happen once in a while, she says, because the purpose of messaging is to meet and you're pushing to meet each other. If she says, I would prefer to get to know each other first before going on a date, she's formalizing it in her head. So when when she is saying and thinking, I should get to know you better before meeting, she's essentially saying we should message each other more before meeting. Do not fucking do that. You need to actually meet her, not follow her fucking lead. So again, this is rule 2 of message game. You need to be the one fucking leading. Stop letting her lead it. When she says, I want to get to know you better before meeting, so I don't know you're fucking psycho, whatever. I literally have so many examples of this that I formulated a fucking solution and it works almost every time. I'm not fucking with you. I do not make things up. You guys know, hardcore Game Global followers know I don't fucking make shit up. So there's an example of this on the MGAI website too. When she says, let me just fucking look at it because it's so easy to fucking follow. If you go to the MGAI website, there's a great fucking example. She says, first I have to know the other person better, then I can start thinking about going on a date. So what that means is message each other more before meeting, which is contrary to message game philosophy. The whole point of you messaging each other is to meet. So why aren't you meeting? So anyway, the solution to this, and here's the example on the MGAI website. That's a fair point, but I think there's no better way to get to know someone than by meeting and doing something fun. How do you feel about that? So the emphasis is actually on the fun, but you're pointing out that there really is no better way to get to know someone by meeting. Because you guys cannot fucking argue with me that I'm incorrect about that. If I want to get to know John in the fucking chat box right here. Should I get to know John in the chat box? Always in the chat box? He has no profile picture there. I don't know who the fuck John is. And then I go meet John. Okay, I know what he looks like. I can see his mannerisms. I can tell if he's a psychopath or not. I get more information because we meet each other. That is the purpose of messaging. So anytime you get the objection, I think we should get to know each other more before meeting. That makes no sense. The whole point of meeting, it's like she wants to get to know you better, but messaging each other doesn't enable you to get to know each other better than meeting does. So just go for meeting. You're essentially just convincing her that meeting is the way. But the twist on this that you have to remember is, like I said here, Um, that's a fair point, but I think there's no better way to get to know someone than by meeting and doing something fun. So that part takes the pressure off because too many of you guys are being fucking vague and you're like, let's go out for drinks sometime. How's she supposed to respond to that? Be specific. Prompt her. Prompt specific responses from her. Ask specific questions. You need to enable this shit and not have her fucking follow your half-assing all the way to nowhere. So you need to lead this shit. You need to believe in this shit too. So yeah, again, you cannot be fucking pen pals because being a pen pal, if you're messaging each other more than a few days and never meeting, and you're messaging each other for weeks and weeks or whatever, you are setting the pattern that you are not meeting. And then the pattern becomes you are not meeting and that you will never meet. You know, it's possible to turn that around, but that's the pattern that you are fucking setting for yourself by not following the rules of message game. So do not become pen pals. Do not message each other without pushing for the meetup. Because if you're just going to be fucking pen pals, you're setting the precedent. You're setting the pattern that you're not meeting. The pattern is, boom, you just now you know you get a Tinder match, okay? Now you know she exists. She knows you exist. Message her, go for the beat, skip the bullshit, lead, meet. That's how it is. You're not messaging her for weeks and weeks while she's going on dates with other guys, and then suddenly she's in a relationship now, and then you missed that fucking train because you didn't follow the rules of message game. This is why we have rules. Because I've seen this shit tens of thousands of times. I'm not exaggerating. I don't make shit up. We have fucking studied this for years and came up with a formula. And that is why it fucking works most of the time. You know, oh, she didn't come to the date. Yeah, her dad died. She's at a funeral. So, you know, exceptions happen. But you know, kind of like we were discussing before on the panel, when Marcus Wolf said you should be, if you have good game, you should be getting laid on the first date 90% of the time. That lines up very nicely with the kind of results I had through message game alone. Because once you message for a few days, you get the date. If you convinced her to fucking meet you within a few days or a few hours, she's fucking interested. And then when she meets you, she gets to like get to know you better, so she determines if she's turned off or not, basically. You know, there's more to know, but just to really put it in a nutshell, um, you can only fuck it up, really. You can fuck it up with bad logistics. You can fuck it up with saying the wrong shit, having the wrong mannerisms, showing her that you're a psychopath or whatever. If she meets you, that's a good fucking sign. She didn't meet you for no fucking reason. She went to meet you because you're a dating prospect. She could marry you. She probably wants to fuck you. She wants to know if she wants to fuck you. if she never met you before and you matched on Tinder, for example. So that's the fucking difference. You have to meet within a few days. There are exceptions. Like I said before, if you're both busy, okay, she goes to the back of the line, and now you're focusing on messaging the woman at the front of the line you just matched with on Tinder, or you just reinitiated conversation with. And then 2 weeks later, this woman who was not available 2 weeks ago comes back to the front of the line or closer to the front of the line. And then you try again, shoot your fucking shot, push for the meetup. And then if she doesn't go, back to the end of the line for 2 weeks. And it just goes on and on. It's not like you're retrying the same girls over and over again. Like you asked Lucy on a date like 7 times over the course of 10 months. No, obviously she's not fucking interested. If she is and she keeps responding, then she doesn't need to go back to the line all the time. It happens once if you don't meet twice if it's like severely bad circumstances. But if it takes like multiple attempts to meet a woman and she still doesn't fucking come, then she is not in the line anymore. But you still have lots of women in your message game line. So that's what I mean by the 2 week line. If she's unresponsive, back to the line, at the back of the line for 2 weeks. Do not message her for 2 weeks. That's it. Message the other women for 2 weeks, which you're going to be doing anyway if you have abundance. That's how it is. Yeah, I spent too long on that question. Let's jump on to the next one. How do you respond to objections when setting up dates? Like, oh yeah, I answered that basically without even seeing that. How do you respond to objections when setting up dates like I want to message more before a meeting or I don't know you that well? Yeah, I just explained that. I guess you wrote that before I mentioned it. And I didn't even see that. So, that's fucking magic right there. That's how you know this shit is real. Because I fucking been there and I have so many. I literally have a fucking file on this, actually. I can find it within 5 seconds. I bet you on it. Found it. There we go. I'm not even lying. There we go. 2 seconds it took me. I know where the shit this is. I got 10 examples here. I'm gonna screen share this shit. Right. Let me screen share to this one. Yeah, it shows her name and shit, but whatever. How do you like Chicago now that you have moved from Denmark? My family lives here, which is the most important thing. That's cool. Now that you are in Chicago, what do you like to do here? I like living here. That doesn't really answer the fucking question. My family lives here. What are you doing tomorrow? Let's meet at Millennium Park. So, okay, he's following the third rule of message game by initiating, trying to get that meet, trying to get that date. And then she says, I don't meet the boys I just met, which makes no fucking sense. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. I don't meet the boys I just met. Wait, what? What she means, of course, is I don't meet the boys I just matched with or whatever. So we can have dinner or drink together when we get to know each other. So that is the objection. Let's move on. My answers are going to be the same. So I'll just go to the second example. Don't be too coachy though. We'll see. Don't be too coachy though. Tell me more about yourself though. Okay, this is slightly different because she's saying, tell me more about yourself. This is your opportunity to really follow the third rule of message game, meet. This is your opportunity to say something along the lines of, for example, off the top of my head. Perfect. Tell me more about yourself though. I can tell you everything about that over drinks is like what some guys would say. So that's one example. Another example, that first one isn't my taste, but I could say something along the lines of, tell me more about yourself though. Let's let me think here. I challenge you guys. Put a date activity in the chat and I will spontaneously come up with what you would want to do for the first date. Or if nobody does in time, let me just pick God, I keep getting this notification in the way. Let me just pick Ice skating, for example. I don't know, this keeps fucking popping in my head. Tell me more about yourself though. Let's get to, I wouldn't say let's get to know each other, but um let's challenge each other to ice skating. So fucking random, right? It doesn't have to be ice skating. This is just an example. I challenge you to ice skating, and then if you win, I'll tell you everything you want to know. This is just a random example. Next one. Oh my God, what's happening there? Hey, you're in downtown Toronto. I'm live in central Toronto. That's not too far. Can't even fucking spell. Don't want to see her. She can't spell. We are close by. Where about do you live exactly? Thanks for noticing me. Yeah, she wants attention. Oh shit. Thanks for noticing me. Okay. I'm looking for discreet fun. Do you live alone? Oh my God. Okay. How strange. My pleasure. I live in a separate unit. Yeah, I don't want to give away any information there. Let's plan a meetup. And then, okay, here's the problem. He says, let's plan a meetup, and then doesn't say anything after that. Man, just fucking do it. Like, you're waiting for her agreement. Just fucking make the plans, and if she grabs onto the fucking rope, then she's gonna follow. So thank you for trusting me with your number, but I think it would be better if we can talk here first, okay? So it sounds kind of scammy, but same fucking situation. I think it would be better if we can talk here first. That is the objection. Hey, let's skip all the bullshit. How spontaneous are you? That follows the first rule of message game. What is bullshit to you? Maybe not to me. So sometimes that can be confusing, but it doesn't matter. It's like a different topic. And you want to jump to which part? This is where you gotta lead. And what did I mean here when I saved it to these files? What is bullshit to you, maybe not to me. And you want to jump to which part? Yeah, just jumping to meeting, basically. So similar, but I don't know, kind of. Bring protection. Okay, well that started nicely. A poncho or something. What? We won't be able to watch the sunset, is why I said it would be raining, but I like the idea. Doesn't seem like you want to interact that much until we meet, or is that how you like to be? You're breaking my heart. Can't wait to hang. Pretty slammed. He's not leading here. That's a problem. Are you too busy to date? Why is she fucking leading? She's so fucking interested. Come on. I am crazy busy too, but I have time to talk to somebody I am interested in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe they already set a date or something that's slightly different. But yeah, the whole point is it's just another reconfirmation of why you should meet. Flowers, BBT. I don't know what the fuck that is. And you? Amazing. What's your number? Can't get it that easily. Yeah, this is a problem because it's like I want to get to know you better before I give you the phone number or before I meet you. So it's like that's the fucking point of getting to know each other. So there you go. It's just that you're solving this objection. You're cheeky. How do you propose that we meet then so you can claim your flowers? He's kind of handing over the leading power here, so that's not ideal. How about when I find a little more about you? Yeah, again, the whole point is to go on the date, get to know each other there. That's how it works. This one, anytime, Jen, I mean no disrespect, but it looks like you and I are would make some cute ass babies. Ass babies? I know, I'm just kidding. That's funny. So what should I do to make that happen? Well, it's pretty obvious, Jen. Come on, get with the program. Well, keeping me entertained over a drink or four would be a good start. Before that, we should know each other more. Okay, women. That's the point of us having drinks. Don't write it like that. I'm just being dramatic for effect. So are you an adventurous sort of person? It's okay. What do you ask? Just curious what kind of person you are. So what kind of dates do you like? Maybe we should get to know each other first. That phrasing is like so fucking good. It just keeps coming up. in these examples. Um, Perfect fucking example. Well, that is why I'm asking you, and so far you didn't answer any of my questions. You seem a bit different. Are you from South Korea, maybe? My hometown is in Malaysia. Now I'm in Poland. What about you? Yeah, so yeah, maybe we should get to know each other first. And let's see what else we got. Let's just skip one more because it's just repetitive. You are too fast. Life is short. You were right. Tell me three things you would love to do for a first date. Have a good dinner at the nice place. Doesn't answer the question. I said three things, you stupid dummy. And you said one. Doesn't matter. The point is you're extracting information. Um, Good dinner in a nice place. Okay, do you have WhatsApp? We can talk here. So she's not saying exactly we should get to know each other first, but that is essentially what that means. We can talk here. So I'll stop screen sharing. Just quickly see the comments here. Yeah, again, this example, maybe we should get to know each other first. That's the point of meeting. So you basically just have to say something along the lines of fair point, but I believe there's no better way to get to know someone than by meeting and doing something fun. So take the pressure off. So the reason women say this in the first place is because there's a bit of you could be a serial killer. She doesn't know who you are. So there's a reason why she says this. And there's a reason why I have so many screenshots of this exact scenario. It's like human interaction is predictable. And if you map it out like that, you can find these solutions. So that is why it's such a fascinating thing, human psychology. There's a solution for it. She needs reassurance that you are not a crazy fucking weirdo. And the best way of her to um, identify if you're not a crazy fucking weirdo or whatever problems you may present if you meet her is by simply meeting. You could be a serial killer with a great dating app profile. Uh, and your photos may speak 1,000 words. A picture may speak 1,000 words, and you may be competent at messaging and sending words through a screen. But that is completely different to the real physical world. So many people fake their photos, fake their lives in social media. She just wants to know that you're real. She just wants to know that it's safe, that you are safe, that you're not going to be weird or fucking whatever, stalkerish, all that kind of shit. So part of it is a security concern. You have to reassure her. And the best way of getting her to meet you is by convincing her to meet you, pushing for her to meet. And if you let her lead, then it's not going to fucking work. So you have to be straight up with her and just say the best way of getting to know someone, take yourself away from the equation. I believe the best way of getting to know someone is by actually meeting them. And you cannot fucking argue with that. I don't remember, maybe I had like an objection to that like once or twice before, but it's so rare compared to the number of women who come through after that objection and are like, okay, fair enough. And then literally the message she sends, I have examples from this somewhere where she sends her phone number after that fucking message. Objection handled. As simple as that. Next question. Yeah, because another thing I'll add on there quickly is the fun part. You're taking the pressure off. If you say something along the lines of, hey, let's meet, you're being super fucking vague. But if you're setting a fun date idea, a date activity that is fun, it takes the pressure off in like every aspect. I cut out there, but ice skating is a perfect example for this of focusing on the fun and the conversation becomes secondary. If you go ice skating, you know, the fun is the experience. And then you don't have to worry about what to say if you're new to verbal game, if you're not good at verbal game. Like you can kind of tell my voice is getting weak here. I naturally have a weak voice. I didn't speak much when I was young. I didn't know what to say to a woman. But when you go on a date activity like ice skating, it takes the pressure off the conversation. You don't have to worry about what to say or if you're going to get along. Because the point is, you're doing something fun, and then it kind of tricks both of your minds into because you're having fun, it was one of the best dates you have ever been on. So that person is a good match. So it's choosing the right date, something that's genuinely fun that she is to her taste, that is so fucking powerful in itself. Because when you focus on the fun, genuine fucking fun, and she loves ice skating, she could fall on her ass and you met her like 10 minutes ago, and you can laugh at her and it will be okay. Oh, she fell on her ass. Everyone look at her. It's so fucking good. You can hold hands ice skating, and you just met her like 10 minutes ago. That's why I say like ice skating is a fascinating example because it's focused on the movement, not the words. So it's taking pressure off. But the point I'm getting at here is um, taking pressure off is such a powerful thing. Anyway, next question. Video or FaceTime date? I have had debates about this with dating app founders, dating app CEOs. And one guy was saying, and I got a lot of respect for this guy. We're friends and we have meetings like every 2 months. Um, he really loves the idea of having video calls like as a date or before you meet. And I'm like, no, that's so pointless in a way. Like in a way, it's not pointless, but you know, you get to see some of the potential dangers. Okay, this person has one eye looking the wrong way, and his photos were fake or that kind of shit. It's hard to fake a video in real time, at least. It can be done. It's I I seen examples. It's very hard to fake a real-time video. It can still be faked, but the point is you cannot fake the physical world. You can fake that you have two legs when you lost a leg, when you cover your robotic leg with a pair of jeans, stuff like that. You can fake your height by wearing uh, height boosting shoes or height boosting lift whatever things until you take your shoes off. So that is like that's the difference. You can fake your height in photos, you can fake your height in person until you take your shoes off. But the point of meeting is you can't really fake anything. She can fake what she looks like with her makeup, you can argue, but if she looks sexy, she looks sexy. Okay, so that's pretty good. So that's the, you know, maybe it goes both ways. I don't care if she's wearing makeup. She's wearing the makeup to look better. That's like the whole fucking point of makeup. So you guys seen that meme where it says this is what Christopher Columbus saw when he landed in America, and it's like a Native American woman, or it was probably a white woman just like wearing makeup, and she's got a red I'm gonna find a fucking photo. It's probably gonna take so long. Red eye makeup if I'm searching in my photos. God, I can't find it. Shit. Whatever. Another time. You seen that meme where they got the Native American red makeup that just goes across the entire face? My wife is Native American, and we did a few photo shoots with that. Anyway, I can't remember what the fuck I was talking about. I don't know. But the point is you can't fake being real. you can, once you take your shoes off and have sex in the bedroom, you're not gonna keep your fucking shoes on when you have sex. It's okay, I have, but like when you're in bed, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's why meeting is so important. You're not tricking her into meeting, but my point is, um, she knows it's better to screen you, to vet if you're a good partner or not. No other way of vetting a man from a woman's perspective better than actually meeting him. Like she will know pretty much straight away if you're a good a potential partner or not. If she's not attracted to you, she'll just spend some time on a date, maybe make an excuse, go home, whatever. She won't have sex with you. Okay. But the point is, you're getting her on the date. You're not wasting time messaging too much, doing video calls. So I am against the video call before a date thing. I got an interesting thing here. So I had a Tinder match one time where we agreed my opener was something along the lines of it's in my book, but vaguely it's something like I asked her how adventurous she is, and then I asked her what free things she would love to do for a first date. One of the things she said was travel to another country. So it was like, if she's telling me she would love to travel to another country for a first date, I am fucking doing that. That is fucking adventurous. That is so awesome. That would be a cool fucking story. It's too good to turn down. It's like a woman saying, I want to do anal for a first date. You have to be retarded to say no, unless she's a man. So, shout out to John Anthony Lifestyle. Hashtag Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, guys. If a woman says, let's have anal on the first date, and yes, a real woman, I'm saying yes to that. Fuck yeah. If she says, let's go to another country, she wants to go to another country on a first date, fuck yeah, I'm doing that. So, a few days later, or whatever the time frame was, probably a few days later, or like one day later, whatever, um, she came to my place. We did not have sex. We just spent 1 hour planning our trip. And by us planning our trip in person next to each other on my bed, like sitting on my bed, we did not have sex that day. Um, we planned our trip. We know we're gonna fuck when we're planning a trip away for 1 week. We know it. And if we didn't know it, we would have not planned the trip once we met. We would have still met. But once we met, in the background, we know what's going on. It's like I am still making these plans, booking like the Airbnb. She's booking, or I'm booking the Airbnb. She's booking the transportation. That's like how we agreed to do it. She's booking that. I'm booking this. We're next to each other, and we met each other in person now for this 1 hour that we're booking. She did not look ugly, and I did not seem like a psychopath. I probably am a psychopath. I'm an ENTJ. Uh, Fucking deal with it. But if she didn't want to do this fucking vacation date thing, go to another country for first date, she wouldn't have fulfilled her part of the plans. So it's a funny thing. We didn't have sex that day, but then exactly 7 days later, when our transportation was taking us to the place, we were on our way to our official first date. So the first time we met was essentially, you could call it the screener, but at the same time, just booking. She booked the transportation before I booked the Airbnb. And the Airbnb guarantees are pretty generous. So I wouldn't have been screwed if I confirmed mine first, like paid first. But she paid first. I made sure of it because I'm a Jew. She paid for the transportation first before I confirmed any payments on the Airbnb, before I clicked anything. I did that on purpose because I'm a Jew and I like security and shit. So it was a fascinating thing. The time comes, 7 days later, we go on our transportation. We arrive in the city, the first city. We do our fun things the whole day. We get back to the place, and then we had sex. We had sex every single day for the duration of our trip. And every single time that we met since that trip, we had sex every single time we saw each other. So that's just a little story, but that is like my perspective on why it's better to meet. It is always better to meet. There are no exceptions. It's always better to meet. If she's in another country for a few weeks and you can't meet, but you matched on Tinder, but you're away, she's away for a few weeks. Okay, she's just at the back of the line. Don't waste your time doing video calls or whatever, unless you want to, maybe. But I'm focused on what works. I'm not focused on the non-essentials. I'm focused on the essential parts. I broke it down to the core of what exactly works, what messages and strategies and rules work. And I discovered the core of message game, like psychologically, what actually is responsible for a date happening. So, yeah, a lot of long stuff, but if you're interested in that, I'll fucking tell you now. Like, I was a natural before I knew anything before I knew pickup artists existed. I was getting laid, no problem before that. I had girlfriends before that. I was not a guy who, like, I lost my virginity before legal age. I was a young teenager. Arrest me. So, and I met guys who didn't lose their virginity until they were like 36 or something. It fucking terrifies me because I'm so used to the opposite. I was getting laid when I was an early teenager before the legal age. Um, and getting laid throughout my teens. And by the time I knew that game was a thing, that thanks to someone telling me about the book, The Game, ever since I was aware of the book, The Game existing, and therefore pickup artists existing, once I got myself really into game, not long after that, I never had a dry spell for longer than 2 weeks. It like that's how I measured my game. So some people like to count how many women they had sex with and whatever. Cool. That's not the purpose of the game. Um, my ultimate purpose of the game was really to have a family in the long run, and here I am. So there's that. You could say I completed the game, whatever. But the game continues in the form of family, legacy. That's a different topic. But what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah. Yeah, my dry spells were never longer than 2 weeks. So if I hadn't had sex for more than for like 7 days, I hadn't had sex for 7 days. I was like, okay, it's coming in the next few days. I can feel it. Like it was literally this weird superstition that was almost like call it self-fulfilling if you want. But it was like I haven't been laid for 7 days. It's coming in the next few days. It became predictable because I was using Google Calendar to line up the dates so I could see in purple. If I highly recommend this. Schedule your dates in Google Calendar, organize your fucking life in purple and just put her name. That's it. Like this day purple. And if she sleeps over, if you have sex with her, she stays over the night, then change it from 1 day to 2 days. If she stays over like 3 days, which has happened, then change it to 3 days. That's a 3 day long calendar block on Google Calendar in purple with her name. That's how I knew when I looked back, like, yeah, it's true. And I didn't have to look at the calendar to know, but I was like, damn, this really is consistent. I never had to wait more than 2 weeks once I got into game. Fucking crazy. So I'm just saying that so you guys get an idea And it depends on like your marketing, the city you're in. If you're in Antarctica, don't expect to get laid. But I'm just saying that as an idea for you guys to understand what it should be like, what the abundance, the taste of abundance. That is it. So I think I'll leave it there. Don't waste your time doing video calls. Just understand if you want to look more into this, go to Message Game AI, the AI wingman for online dating. Link is in the description, the pinned comment, and everything everywhere. It's in the fucking background. Um, Use the code MESSAGEGAMECOACH, capital letters, no spaces, Message Game Coach, no spaces, all capital letters. And it gives you 2 months worth of free access. Upload your screenshots from Tinder, from SMS, from WhatsApp, from whatever, from Instagram, from whatever. And MGAI will give you exactly what to say next, plus advice related to your screenshot. That is how it works. So all you got to do is take a screenshot of your conversation, upload it. And the AI is based on tens of thousands of data points collected from our project on what works, what doesn't work, purely from a heterosexual man's perspective. So every screenshot used in the data, every message interaction in the data is from a heterosexual man having conversation with a woman. So just like if you think it technologically, it is trained on 100% of screenshots where the man's messages are on the right side of the screen and the woman's messages are on the left side of the screen. Pure fucking data. It's not fucking prompts like, give me a witty line, give me a flirty line. That's not how it fucking works. That's why these other AI things don't fucking work or not as effective in any way. So look into that. That's free to use for 2 months. I'm giving you fucking car keys to a Lamborghini here. And if you're gonna miss it, you're probably dumb. Like seriously, I'm just saying, I met my wife through Tinder. So imagine my daughter would not exist. That's how much I'm emphasizing this to you. Um, and another thing to look into is the book, The Message Game. There's a second edition coming, ideally this year. I've been spending too much time trying to finish it. But finishing it off soon. The Message Game, one of the top books in the pickup artist community of all time, and one of the top books ever in online dating in general and messaging in general. It's crazy, crazy thing. It has hundreds of examples of screenshots in there from me going on dates and everything. There are failures in there too, just for like comedy reasons, and for lessons I'm teaching in there. But a shitload of successes. And at the end of the book, there's a thing. I'm a fucking genius, right? I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just letting you know. At the end of the book, there's a section, a chapter called Situation Index. Just like I was going through before, where she says we should get to know each other better. That's a situation that can be in the situation index. So every time something of that situation happens where she says she's too busy, or she says, I want to get to know you better before a meeting, or you have a logistics issue. I have specifically gone through every reference to every situation and put it all in the table. So let's say, for example, whatever examples are there. If she says she can't meet because she's busy, or something like that, go to that chapter, situation index, and it says she's too busy. And then it lists every single page where there's a screenshot for that. or a paragraph that references it. If she says, I think we should get to know each other first before meeting, boom, every page that has that situation, so that once you read the book, you can go to that fucking part if you forget like how to deal with it. Okay, here are 10 pages with at least 10 examples, that means, where this exact fucking situation happens. So then once you get that situation, you know to turn your page to the end of the fucking book, situation index, look for all the examples, and use um, your response to her based on those examples and based on the teachings covered on those examples. Anyway, let's leave it there. Super long one by now. Drop your comments, who we should have on the next panel. I think it's worth having a debate in the future between Mr. Locario and Deepak Dating and whoever else wants to. I don't want to make it another fucking free-for-all. That was too crazy. Mystery was there. Mr. Locario was there. Marcus Wolf was there. Michael Sartain was there. There were like 10 fucking people. Complete chaos. It was fucking fun. It's a must watch. I just made it a free for all on purpose because, 10 debates deserves like a season finale. So it was like a fucking epic one. It's like Avengers Endgame or some shit. That was the only reason. And fun and money. I'm just fucking with. I'm a Jew after all. Kara is saying my nephews are Apache. I love it. That's good. Yeah, keep the Native Americans going. It's pretty important. White people came over, colonized everything. I am like 99% white and like 1% Asian. Mongolian. Thank you, Genghis Khan. Anyway, now I'm just talking about random shit. I'll leave it there. Look, I'm serious, guys. Like, I'm a married man. I have daughters. Like, I imagine there's something you're missing, and that puzzle piece that you're missing, I could have on my fucking website for you that you can literally read for free or a video you can watch for free. If there's something you need help with, I probably have a resource that's free that you can literally look at that solves your fucking problem. Send me a message. Look at every fucking link in the description. If you want to know about a particular topic, like approach anxiety, I literally put together an article of every fucking piece of advice I could find on approach anxiety. I literally compiled all the fucking answers for you over the last few years, and I'm trying to do more. So send me a message if you're looking for something. I'm not going to try to sell you something unless you specifically say you're looking for coaching, then I'll throw you a link to someone's coaching. Probably not even mine. I'll like refer you to Mystery if you're looking for something from Mister. I'm not trying to sell you something unless you ask for it, unless it's like super fucking relevant and you're asking for it. I'm not trying to sell you a damn thing. Send me a message if you're looking for something. Aside from that, drop a fucking comment, like, subscribe, send me money for Jewish reasons if you want to. Yeah, if I'm nothing to do with the war. I just say I'm Jewish because my ancestors were Jewish. I'm not circumcised. I'm not from Israel. My ancestors are like hundreds of years ago. Some of them. And again, our ancestors are from fucking Mongolia. So what does that make me? So it doesn't matter. Nothing to do with the war. So don't call me whatever. I'm just babbling on now. Whatever. Catch you guys on the other side. Game on. The game is never fucking over until you're dead. And even then, once you die, your legacy begins. So think about what your fucking legacy is. It has been 10 years this month since my friend killed himself 10 years ago in June. And he died young in his 20s, but he left behind a legacy because he was a famous video game developer, and I continue his project as part of his legacy to make sure that millions more people can discover it. So game is not about having sex with as many women as possible. And I'm not saying that because I'm a virgin or whatever. I'm not a virgin, obviously. I have my own clones out there. I've had sex with plenty of women, been on plenty of fucking dates. I'm just telling you, you have to understand the difference between ego and purpose. In the end, some of you guys just want to settle down eventually. In the meantime, have fun. I'm not against that. I'm just saying, don't get confused and think like some dating coaches out there, they're only legitimate for as long as they stay out of a relationship. That's the terrible way of viewing game. Game is like kung fu, motherfucker. Game is in everything. Game the fuck on. Game on, game global. Drop your fucking comments. Subscribe. Catch you guys on the other side. Game on. I gotta end it. Game on.